Good afternoon and a very warm welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club for the second semi-final of the LHK Insurance's Alan Murray Cup. It's YMCA against Merrion. I'm Peter Boyd, and joining me here for the first stint in commentary is the YMCA head coach, former Irish international, former rugby referee. How many more formers can I get in? But the legend always, it's Alan Lewis.
Zero, me. Former. That's what it is. That's the way life is, Peter. You eventually become former. But for the 11 YMers out there today, a very young side, it's all about the here and now. And for them, what sort of stamp they can potentially put on early. Interesting that Marion have opened with Carty and Langford Smith. It seems to be stable diet in their T20 cricket. Lanky, of course, fantastic cricketer since he's been in Ireland, and he won't be hanging around, Peter.
No, he certainly won't. And opening the bowling for YMCA is a young man, Jared Barnes. And the last time we were here with a live stream was during the T20 interprovincial competition, and Jared Barnes bowled that memorable last over when Munster defeated Leinster Lightning. So he'll have fond memories of T20 competitions on this ground, and he's wearing the red again. It was red of Munster last time, it's red of YMCA today. And who will join Clonsharf in this evening's final? Will it be YMCA or will it indeed be Merrion? He has the white ball today, sponsored by Tiflex, ball sponsor for this day's competition, and we're just about ready to go for today's second semi-final.
So YMCA setting up with 6-3 on the offside to Carty.
And that's well fielded and thrown back in there. No run on the offside there for Carty, so we're up and running.
He's kind of made that position his own. Harry Tector, his brother, marshalling extra cover, but since he's taken the captaincy, prefers to be either extra cover mid-wicket, marshalling the troops. Outstanding fielder, Harry Tector.
Not out there, big half-hearted appeal really, but nothing doing. But as you say, since he's taken over the captaincy, Jack Tector obviously back in the team today. You must be delighted to have him back and playing for you again.
Yes, it's been a frustrating time since he broke his finger in the Waringstown Irish Senior Cup, and he's been chomping at the bit to get back. So today is the day. Of course, there was a washout last week. He was due to play, so raring to go.
Good start here from Jared Barnes, not offering any width or anything at all for Carty to launch himself into, and nothing doing off the first three deliveries of the over.
Jared Barnes has been a great addition to this YM setup this season, apart from being a very good guy. He's comfortably the leading wicket taker in the club in all forms of the game, and worthy of his Munster selection, of course, as you alluded to earlier, Peter.
Coming down the ground this time was Carty. That's way up in the air and held on to, and that's the first wicket, a big wicket. So Jack Carty, he's been scoring lots of runs for Marion this season, but YMCA make the breakthrough, fourth ball of the innings, and Marion are not for one.
And that's a great start for YMCA. Barnes plugging in back of a length. That was the plans they spoke about this morning, and it's dot ball pressure, and Carty half-heartedly going forward. And I think if you wanted your house on a catch, you'd pick James Parkinson. He is an outstanding fielder and an outstanding cricketer. So great start that for YMCA. 4 balls gone, 0 for 1. Carty gone, and in course it comes a key and pivotal figure for Merrion. Probably the outstanding batsman in club cricket over the last 10 years, John Anderson. Has played a significant role in everything that club, or this club Merrion, has achieved. Wonderful player, and certainly he will be someone, Peter, that YMCA will want to see the back of as early as possible.
They will certainly want that, because he has this wonderful ability to be able to time an innings, whether it's in the 20 over, 50 over or championship cricket for Leinster Lightning. He can time an innings almost to perfection, so that'll be certainly something that YMCA will be looking to get a go at. But the batsman crossed as the ball was in the air, so it's Langford Smith on strike as Jared Barnes comes in again and fended off it. But no run there. This has been a fabulous start from Jared Barnes in this first over.
It's been interesting actually because we spoke before the game about the type of fields that we'd have, and Parkinson and Barnes talked about not having drag out on the boundary, and I suppose probably in terms of Langford Smith's scoring areas, they've brought third man into the circle, still going with a slip, long on, deep mid-wicket.
Oh, and that's a wonderful end to the over as well. A wicket maiden to start it off. YMCA were delighted with that. And Merrion yet to get up and running, not for one after one.
Well, that's a great start for YMCA and a brilliant start by Jared Barnes. Not often you get wicket maidens, but wicket maiden it is. He's been bowling very well this season for YMCA, and obviously hoping to meet Clontarf in the final. I see Conor Kelly drifting in behind me here.
As well, a loud cheer goes up from the pavilion here in Pembroke, and I do believe that might be the first goal in the hockey that for Ireland in their semi-final. So we're obviously we're wishing the Irish hockey team well. There's lots of crossover between the women's team and the women's cricket team as well. So plenty of support going in for that as well.
It's a most extraordinary achievement. 1-0 to Ireland. They've been a fantastic, ambassadorial, brilliant teamwork ethic. 16th in the World Cup semi-final. But Parkinson comes in.
Oh, and beats the outside edge again. This is a fantastic start from the YMCA bowlers, and really knocking Marion onto the back foot from the beginning.
Great start this by YMCA. 7 dot balls it is now. They're like gold in T20 cricket, these dot balls.
Well, if they're like gold, they're fantastic miners at the moment. Parkinson again. A no run there. Langford Smith sent back and you keeping it on their toes.
Well, you can feel the pressure building, Peter. That's 8 dot balls now. Be an anxiety to get off the mark, but this is great work by YMCA. Real pressure cooker, slip, backward square. A lot of cover on the offside, and that'll be the channel that Parkinson will be looking to ease into.
For this time, and they will get a single and get off the mark. John Anderson driving towards mid-off, and that's the first runs from Marion, but it's taking 9 deliveries, and on what is a good track with a fast outfield, you start with 8 dot balls. That's going to really put them in difficulty before they start.
Interesting. Parkinson now going with long on. Apart from anything else, these two are great pals. Parkinson, both hail from Australia, of course. Now both living with families in Ireland. Langford Smiths and the Parkinsons. Amazing how the world goes round.
Oh, and that's edged up and over, and that's 4 runs. Going for the bouncer in there to Langford Smith, but he got a piece of it, and it was up and over to Sam Murphy, the keeper, and ran away for 4.
Yeah, maybe that was just I'm here, Lanky from Parky. But
good original nicknames there, all right.
Absolutely. Not exactly executed perfectly, but it's 4 runs.
Oh, and that is a big appeal. Celebrations from the YM team behind the bat, but nothing doing.
You've never seen an Australian walk, have you, Peter? But Parkinson had no interest.
Yeah.
So certainly from an umpiring point of view, if the bowler has little or no interest, you're not likely to get a decision.
Nothing doing from in front of the bat. Everything there was behind the bat, so some sort of noise. But Parkinson just turned on his heel and went back to his mark. And there's another edge, but this one is a bigger one. It's going to go all the way. And Two lucky strikes, you might say, but bringing 10 runs to Langford Smith in this over.
That really is fortuitous. Parkinson just has a wry grin on his face there.
There's not much else you can really do after that, because he had the beating of him there in that delivery. But when you go hard at it and and the ball is that new, you do have the possibility that it will fly.
Well, that certainly did fly. It cleared the boundary easily for 6. So Langford Smith goes to 10. And Merrion 11 for 1 at the end of the second over.
Jared Barnes now to continue with his second over. 6 dot balls, as we said, in his first over.
And it's interesting now too that the sun begins to creep through, Peter.
That's it. It's a beautiful afternoon developing here, and that's a beautiful shot. We talked about John Anderson and how important he may be for Marion. That was a glorious shot. Just pulled away off his hip, square the wicket, 4 more.
That won't be something Barnes will be happy about. It's what you'd call a rank long hop, and easily dispatched by Anderson for 4.
That is the tricky and situation for players, but what we enjoy as commentators and viewers of T20 cricket, 1 over and 1 delivery can all of a sudden change the momentum. That over suddenly got Marion up and running. They're taking a quick single and well backed up there. And it's Harry Tector with the shy at the stumps, but was well backed up, preventing any overthrows.
You need to be very careful with Harry Tector. He's dead-eye with those one-handed pickups. I've seen, has coached 3 clear direct hit runouts this season. Absolutely brilliant in that area.
He's well able to do it. I've seen him do it in interprovincial cricket as well. He's done that for his Northern Night side as well. He's more than capable. Driven, no run there either. He's lots of energy in the ring there for YMCA, making sure that they're in on that, not letting any easy singles and allowing Marion to rotate the strike at all.
So a lot of vacant areas, Ireland, or what am I saying, Ireland? YMCA. A lot of gaps in that leg side. It's an area that Langford Smith favours in terms of hitting big. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Oh, we went to go big after that one, but just beaten by a little bit of pace. Got through there from Jared Barnes. He's a big old unit, is Jared Barnes, isn't he? He definitely comes in and is able to deliver with pace, but he's one of the few people that comes around that I actually feel kind of intimidated by his height. He's a big lad. He's a gentle giant, but he's a tall lad.
That's a fair description, Peter. But a very ambitious cricketer, wanting to play at the highest level that he can and do all that he can to do that.
He rolled his hand over the side of the ball, he rolled his fingers down the side, a little off cutter, and beat Langford Smith with that one as well.
Yeah, it's quite funny. He's obviously looking to vary his pace at different times, and often has kind of struggled a bit when a little bit of a scramble mind, has bowled a lot of kind of hip high full tosses, which he's trying to eradicate from his armoury. Trying to work with him on, with his height, getting those Yorkers in wide of off stump if he can.
Barnes, as a bowler, a little bit more interested than Parkinson was at the other end, but again, no real conviction in the appeal and nothing doing. So that's the end of 3 overs. Marion 16 for 1.
Well, YM will be very satisfied with the start so far. I've bowled very well. And again, apart from 1 or 2 fortuitous swings and top edges from Langford Smith, YM have starved Merrion of scoring opportunities. A lot of dot balls in these early stages. And again, we're hearing, Beta, there's a lot of cheering. There's a lot of people in the bar right now with a lot more interest with the hockey course World Cup semi-final. Ireland girls leading the country proud.
That'll be a wide signal there. Hayden Seaver, sure of that one. Well, it's really putting the pressure on for later on in the pressure on now for later on in this year when the women's cricket team go out to the World T20. Now they'll be looking to, as Parkinson comes in, single there, well fielded, but yes, the pressure will be on now to represent the country and put us forward and put on to their best of their potential when they go.
Fielded well by Sam Streak there, of course, his father to our right hand side. Watching eagerly today, has bowled very well in T20 cricket and forced his way into the first team with some very good performances mid-season. And not alone that, also with the bat now, so whether he's getting throwdowns from his father, I don't know.
Big swing and a miss there from Langford Smith.
No reaction to my right hand side. Still no reaction to my right hand side.
The hook is out there, but there's nobody biting there, Louis.
Suffice it to say, he's doing very well.
But again, this over showing that aside from those two fortuitous strikes that have gone all the way to the boundary, there's nothing on offer for the Merrion batsmen. This is a really good start from the two opening bowlers for YMCA. And as I speak, that is picked up, and that I've even lost track of that in the sunshine, but that is all the way another 6. That's a fantastic shot. Just over pitching just a little bit, and made a half volley of it. And beautiful shot from Langford Smith.
I think Wild Bill will be into the gardens again.
He's been away for a little while, but that's a beautiful shot into the leg side, all the way for 6, straight into the gardens on Park Avenue.
It's gone a long way, that one from Langford Smith. Huge shot.
We were looking for speed guns earlier for the differences in pace bowling. We were looking for yardage meters for how far that has flown, because while his earlier 6 might have been a bit fortuitous going behind him, that was all off the middle of the bat, and that went a long way. And clever cricket there from Langford Smith after the boundary, just dots the ball down into the offside and runs through for the signal, rotating the strike again.
Amazing thing about this format, Peter, every ball is valuable, be it a batter or a bowler. As I said earlier, dot balls are gold, and they're the stats that you look for in this format of the game.
Has picked up again, this time with John Anderson going over the infield, and that will probably race away. Both Gamble and Tegder really giving it their best to chase it down, but not a chance on this fast outfield. And it's 4 more, this time to Anderson. And it was a safe shot, really, just flicked it off his toes and up and over the infield. That was a lovely shot.
Well, it is a safe shot with 3 fielders in, and now, interestingly, Gamble going. I don't know whether Gamble is going back, but they're bringing 4 on the leg side, which is strange. Has to be said, all inside the circle.
Well, that's up in the air. Can he get under it? That's up in the air from Anderson. That's a great catch. Oh, what a take.
What an amazing catch. Jack Tector, obviously 5 weeks on the sidelines has done him no harm. Always a great catcher. Fantastic catch running over his back, and that's a huge wicket for YMCA.
That is a fantastic catch, going the wrong way, ball coming over his shoulder, usually the most difficult catch to take, and he made sure he hung on. Going to the ground, he held on to it really well, and that's a massive wicket for YMCA. John Anderson goes for just 11. That is a magnificent moment for YMCA. They're now 29 for 2, Marion, and John Anderson is gone. That's a fantastic moment for YMCA. It now brings their overseas professional Punish Mehta to the crease for Merrion. What a fantastic start here in the 4th over. At the conclusion of that 4th over indeed. And Merrion are 29 for 2. But that really was some catch What a fantastic effort from Jack Tector to get back, take it as it came over his shoulder, and hang on as he went to the ground. A brilliant take.
Well, the secret to those catches, Peter, is you got to get there quickly, and that's what Jack Tector did. He covered the ground magnificently quickly, gave himself a chance, and diving forward, never took his eye off it. Brilliant catch. And now, change of bowling. Some real promise here. Mitchell Thompson has come into the YMCA setup. Leg spinner. Good thinking cricketer, spent a lot of time in the UK last year. I think King's College Taunton. Another one who joined Fionn Hand, who of course was there also. So a bold move this by Jack Tector.
Yeah, within the power play still to bring him on, but plenty of confidence. A name that I've seen around the young cricket sides and representative sides over the last few years, and obviously a man with young boy really with plenty of promise. So. And obviously trusted by his teammates as well and his captain.
Interesting too. We spoke earlier, but he's gone with 4 on the leg side, which I would be encouraging him not to, but he has. I wouldn't mind seeing Mitchell Thompson maybe get a slip in there. Yeah,
they've started so well here, YMCA. He could build that pressure and put him on. Just a single there to Meta to get him off the mark, brings Langford Smith back on, but this is really is an aggressive move in the power play to bring on the young spinner. That's dragged down a little, and Langford Smith is able to get under that and play it away behind square on the onside, I should say. 6 more.
A rank long hop that from Thompson, and it's got what it's deserved. Sometimes actually be a surprise delivery, but no surprises there.
Well, we had a couple of young bowlers stepping up in the first semi-final and bowling really well, and perhaps showing some of their more experienced counterparts how it should be done. And it's a young lad here, ready to make his mark on this semi-final. So good comeback with his next delivery.
Good response there from Mitchell Thompson. Might have slid out of the front of the hand that previous delivery, but back on the money.
Two in a row there, looking to cut backward a point, but picking out the point fielder both times. So 2 dots, and again, just a couple of dots can build that pressure once again after taking the wicket as well. So.
It's why, having spoken to him, I think square leg is a wasted fielder here for Mitchell Thompson. It's really only the short ball that's going to go there, and you want the batter playing across it. Top edge might get him a wicket.
And there's
again
4 in a row to finish. Really, just that one poor delivery, but that can happen now and again. With 7 off the over. And that brings us to 36 for 2 off 5. So a really good start here from YMCA, and it's a tough position. Obviously, commentating on your own team, I'm sure, Alan. But do you something you enjoy, kind of as a distraction, maybe, or how are you watching and taking it in from the sidelines?
Well, I just want the team to do well. Like all you're ever looking for your team to do is play at the level they should be playing at or above, and that's all I asked of them. Obviously, you speak tactically about certain players and different things, and it's interesting. I spoke to Mitchell Thompson before the game, and it's, we spoke about maybe only 3 on the leg side, and now he's gone with 4. So I'd be, again asking the question why, when we spoke before, why would you, not consider doing that, or what was the reason? You looked at that any differently when you consider that Langford Smith hit those remaining 4 balls into the area where he's got cover. So, they're the sorts of things that you talk about, but they've got to learn on the job. That's the big thing. So Ashir Abbasi now coming into the attack.
Ashir, of course, someone that we know well from our Game of the Day productions with Cricket Leinster. He's one of the men under the helmet in doing some batting. So that's cut away there by Meta, down and well cut off. Thompson doing well to cut that one off, restrict them to just the 2 runs.
Shortish ball there from Abbasi. Again, so much of Seamers' confidence, and it's something that I've spoken with Ashir about. There's no risk of effort, and again, he's a fellow with a very good action. It's just about his consistency and consistently hitting those types of areas. And I suppose in his own way, the Achilles heel, really, sometimes he can go for a few, but he can be a wicket taker, and maybe that's the reason why Tector has brought him on now.
And still inside the power play, of course, the last over of it, and it's been a very much YMCA's power play so far. Just 39 for 2 now at the moment, and YMCA's really on top, but won't take much. Dave Langford-Smith has the power, and Punish Mehta can definitely hit a few, and there's a bit of a longish batting lineup with Merrion, so you do have to keep the concentration and keep the pressure on throughout.
I just wondered a wee bit, Dom Joyce, I don't know whether he appears to be padded up or not, but it certainly looks as if Tyrone Kane is coming in next.
Well, Tyrone Kane hit 49 yesterday for the Ireland Wolves in a losing effort against Bangladesh A down in Oak Hill, but he certainly was in decent form there, 49 off 40 delivery, so couldn't quite make his 50, but he was in good form yesterday, so that was a definite chance there, and Sam Murphy put down the chance. That would have been really another big wicket for YMCA, but nicked through from Langford-Smith, and Sam Murphy put down what was genuinely probably a regulation take there for the wicketkeeper, but couldn't hold on.
And that is the sort of stuff that wears heavy on you as a coach, Peter.
It's putting grey hairs on you. Definitely, Louis. That kind of thing. Just seeing that again, it's at an awkward place. I'll try and find some mitigation for him, but it's right at his head, trying to figure out where to put the hands, which way. But he really should have held on to that one, and he'd be disappointed. It's one of those ones, I suppose. It's like when you hear, "I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed." That weighs hard on you.
Very good over there from Abbasi, and very unlucky not to see the back of Langford-Smith.
That would have been due reward for a good over there as we finish the power play in the second semi-final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. It's 39 for 2 for Marion, and definitely Marion or YMCA's power play, they're well on top, and it would have been crowned off there if Asher Abbasi had been able to pick up that wicket to finish off the power play. So we're just starting first over out of the power play, and Mitchell Thompson will continue. So Punish Mehta on strike to face Mitchell Thompson. Just lost his run up there a little bit. Restart, take 2. And bit of respect shown there by Punish Mehta. The forward defensive has a little look to see what the youngster has to offer him.
He's done very well since he's come into the first team, Mitchell Thompson.
Yeah, has a look. A forward defensive and a leave gets 2 dots to Mitchell Thompson. He'll take them as well. As you said, dots are like gold dust, but if somebody's going to let you have 2 like that, you'll be more than willing to take them. Guided down that time towards third man, but the fielder there gets it back in very quick.
YMCA looks sharp in the field, which is also pleasing for a coach. One chance, of course, gone down in the last over. Behind the wicket.
Well, it's vital that you're working and you're playing well in all 3 aspects of the game. You have to bat and bowl well, but also you have to be able to field, and that was the one thing with even at an international level with the Ireland men's team. It's the one thing we could guarantee, that we were often outfielding teams when we were at our most successful. As Meta picks up the single there, but
well, it's the one area you can help one another enormously, and it's easily said but often not easily done, and it's mostly in the minds of the players. They've got to drive it themselves to get better. And perhaps the greatest example of that in Irish context is George Dockrell. When he came into the side, was a very poor fielder, and now probably is the best, or certainly one of the best, and he would have put a huge amount of work into that end of the game.
Ooh, that's well bowled from Mitchell Thompson there. This is another great over from the young man, and he's just keeping the pressure all on Merrion, because they would have expected to be able to put on a big score here, and just haven't been able to get up and running really so far. Just a single to finish the over, and it's 41 for 2 through 7.
So great start this, as you say, Peter, for YMCA. End of the 7th over. Merrion just about at 6s. So real interesting phase of the game now. This complete contrast to the previous game, where both sides were virtually this score of 4 overs. So
yeah, it was a quick start from both teams, and then kind of a slower period after the power play as wickets were taken and began to fall, whereas this has seen wickets fall early and a slower run rate. But it's interesting to see as well. We have a lot of the Clontarf team still hanging around, watching on. They haven't gone off for lunch or anything like that. They're having a watch, see who they'll be facing later on in the finals. So they've got through this morning, beating Leinster by 5 wickets. So a little later, around 5:30, we'll have the final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup, and we'll be bringing it here to you on Cricket Leinster TV. It's Asher Abbasi to continue from the Sydney Parade end, as Langford Smith plays another one off his hips, just straying a little to the leg side.
Touch of calypso there from Lanky. 1 foot in the air, Gordon Greenwich style. Whether many of our listeners or viewers, I should be saying viewers, will remember that, but it was trademark Greenwich.
Oh, so very nice. We just caught a replay of it here on our screens, and yes, looks gorgeous.
Interesting now to see YMCA Jack Tector bringing in drag, posting back fine leg.
And that's pushed away, but again, the boundary rider there out defending the far boundary. That's just a single again, and the coverage is there, making sure that they don't find easy boundaries and tall, and just singles and dot balls. It's been a very slow start, and Marion aren't really looking to come down and dominate or show any intent really. They're just happy to take their singles and wait for perhaps that bad delivery to come. And there, that wasn't a bad delivery, but it's whipped away. I think it's 1 bounce 4 from Langford Smith.
Yeah, you could say fortunate to get away with that, or extremely well placed, but you don't have a huge amount of control when you're hitting in that direction. But it's an area where Langford Smith is very strong, and it beat gunning easily. It went like a tracer bullet.
And there's 2 fielders out
1 bounce 4.
patrolling that boundary, and neither of them had a chance. That's a bit more banged in, and that's pulled away over us, so over the pavilion. It's a big 6. A little overcorrection from Abbasi that time, and he dragged it down, and it just sat up beautifully for Langford Smith, and he wasn't going to miss out. He pulled it over long leg, a massive 6 up and over the pavilion here in Pembroke Cricket Club, and that's 6 more to his total. I think we'll be looking for one more of our Tiflex sponsored cricket balls to come in. I don't know whether we'll get that one back.
Well, if you consider Merrion are 53 and they've hit 5 maximums at this stage, so that just shows you the value of maximums. And again, in watching all the T20 cricket that I watch around the world, often it's the team that hit most maximums that win these matches. And Langford Smith has moved to 35. Very dangerous, of course, has been missed by YMCA. And hopefully from their point of view, it won't be something they rue.
And quick run single there as it dropped into the leg side, and that's going to be the big issue for YM now looking forwards. How much will they rue that chance that they put down? So Asher Abbasi now looking to get out of this over. His final ball of the 8th over. And well ball to finish up. And there we have it, the end of the 8th over. It's 54 for 2. Which out of nowhere, those maximums adding up, and Langford Smith has suddenly moved on to 35 from 25. And as I was saying just a couple of deliveries ago, they weren't really showing any aggressive intent, but suddenly they're now pushing the scoring rate along, and this partnership can then build up and build up. So it's a crucial period of the game at the moment now.
I'm glad to see Jack Tector continuing with Mitchell Thompson. He's bowled well. One baddish ball, but the other 11 have been very good. Kind of certainly creating doubt in the Merrion batsman. So, again, this interesting phase now. Merrion at 7th. 54 at the end of the 8th over. And it's Mitchell Thompson to continue to Langford Smith, who can cause havoc in this format of the game.
And just drops it into the offside and goes through for the quick single. He's plenty of legs left in him. He's well able to go for those quick singles as well as hit the hard ball.
Very well bowled that by Mitchell Thompson, but equally well played by Langford Smith, easing it away on the offside. Get yourself one, get down the other end. And again, Pune struggling against the spin of Thompson, which is interesting in the sense, generally Indians very good players at spin bowling, but looks to have a bit of bottom hand.
Yeah, you'd imagine that he would be well able to and well used to facing it, but there's been a lot of respect and a lot of. I took a big bounce off one of the artificial strips here in Pembroke, but well fielded in the deep, restricting just to the single there. Oh.
Again, that looks to be the googly from Mitchell Thompson. He's got it in his armoury. He has the full scale, which is great for him at such a tender age, and a very good cricketing brain.
Langford's been a bit of movement down the pitch there, trying to get to the pitch of the ball, but can only squeeze it into the leg side for a single again.
And that again is a win for Thompson. So he's bowling extremely well here for his team in the 9th over.
Let's just card away again. Careful fielding in the deep, just making sure that no mistakes. And another good over from Thompson. He's now bowled 3 overs and gone for just 13 runs as Marion move on to 58 for 2 through 9, but that's a fantastic effort from the young man. It's just 12 runs coming off his 3 overs, 13 runs I should say, coming off his 3 overs.
Well, when you bear in mind, Peter, his second ball was hit for 6, it's a measure of how well he's bowled, and we've got another change now.
Well, you mentioned him earlier. It's young Sam Streak, who's impressed a lot over the last few months, and he's come on now into the first team, and here he has a bowl in the semi-final of the Alan Murray Cup.
Following in his father's footsteps, of course, with longer hair now than we'd be used to seeing. Says he's certainly not going to be cutting it, so would have reminded me of his father in yesteryear. Long locks, touch of the Chris Waddles.
Do I have to explain that to our younger viewers as well, who Chris Waddle was?
Well, that's probably true. Ian Botham would be probably a better description. Would have been hair at a neckline, Peter. If you remember your heyday, I certainly do. 85, 86, they were very much in fashion.
I do have photos that prove that I had one of those hairstyles too.
So what's been good for Sam Streak as well is that his pal Sam Murphy is up to the stumps, so can keep.
Oh, and that's gone down the leg side. And flicked something on the way. No signal from the umpire. Oh, there it is. I thought there must have been something because the signal didn't come for a long time, but it did indeed. So changing the field again for Langford Smith on strike. Well, and just a single again for Langford Smith, but I think YM relatively happy if they continue to take these singles and dot balls mixed in every so often as well. They can restrict the boundaries at this point, Louis.
Yep, YMCA will be happy at this stage. They'd have taken 60 going into the 10th over. Of that, there's no doubt. And they've played well. They've done well. They've looked alive. They've bowled with.
Oh, and just dropping short there. Oh, and as you mentioned earlier, Harry Tector remarkably accurate.
I actually think that was his brother Jack. Sorry, Vida, they do look alike at times, but I know that gangly throw. Yeah. Certainly different personalities. One like the father and one like the mother. We wouldn't need too many guesses to know who's like the father.
I'm going to blame the sunshine that's streaming into the commentary position here for that little error. And that's another wide, and this time it's gone all the way. Sam Murphy couldn't quite get across to that, up to the stumps, and couldn't get a hold of it, so it's 5 wides there. And that pops up just short of Jack Tector this time. Another call, but the threat is always there. Every time Marion take that quick single, Jack Tector, as I've been rightly corrected, is getting the ball back in very, very quickly, very accurately. So anytime they take a dangerous single, there's always the pressure on.
Very good fielder, the skipper, as we saw earlier. Fantastic catch over his head, extra cover. And will be very anxious to hit the ground running with the bat, having been out for 5 weeks. Try and impress some people up top.
And he was denied the chance as well when he was captaining the academy during the week. As that one's driven, can he get across to it? Oh, and it's held on to by Barnes. It's another wicket. That is a big wicket. Sam Streak cashes in and Langford Smith goes. He's gone for 39 and Merrion are 3 down. It's 67 for 3. And when we consider that in our earlier game, both teams got to 57 for 1 inside the power play, and now Merrion are 67 for 3, and we're nearly into the end of the 10th over.
Well, he's been christened the burglar since he's come into the first team. Just has this ability to take wickets at the right time. Someone I see behind me, a little bit the same. Gevy OB.
The old golden arm himself.
Golden arm himself. But a very, very important wicket, that for YMCA.
Well, that was a big wicket because there was just a potential for a partnership to start to build, and a couple of wide deliveries from Sam Streak in the over, but he's cashed in there and taken a big wicket, and Langford Smith is gone.
Could be laughed at, but that catch was taken at that awful awkward height. Will I go top or bottom? And again, most important that he hung on, Barnes, because often it's difficult when you're on the edge of the circle at mid-off. You're not quite sure what pace the ball is coming at, but took it comfortably in the end, and a very vital wicket.
And that's it
for YMCA and for Sam Streak personally. So 3 down now, Marion, with Tyrone Kane to the wicket.
Yeah, and as you rightly said, Tyrone Kane is the next man in. No sign of Dom Joyce yet, and Tom it's whipped away by Meta. And again, good feeling in the deep, restricting them to just a single.
That would be teammates in arms. I think Tyrone Kane would know what a good fielder Harry Tector is in those positions in the deep. Gets the ball in quickly, has a very strong arm and a wise decision. So he's on the back of a few runs, of course, yesterday for the Wolves. And immediately off the mark.
And there we go. So he gets a single to bring Merrion on to 69 for 3 after 10 overs. And that completes our stint in the commentary box. Thanks very much to Alan Lewis for joining us here. And the best of luck in the rest of the game, Louis.
Thank you very much, Peter. I can get back to the day job now. And not that I can have a huge amount of influence about what goes on from here, but certainly YMCA have done well to this point.
So there we have it. After 10 overs, it's 69 for 3. We leave you in the capable hands of Andrew Leonard and Kevin O'Brien.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Alan, as well. Great to have not only an Irish international, former Irish international, but the head coach of YMCA. We'll have Mitchell Thompson finish out his spell, bowling to Tyrone Kane. Another dot ball. Sitting into my right here is Kevin O'Brien for the second time today. How are you, Kevy?
Good, mate. Just watched the first half of the women's semi-final. They're 1-up, so
the Hockey World Cup you're referring to there.
Yeah.
You obviously, particularly through your wife, would have a huge involvement in the hockey, wouldn't you? You obviously played a good bit as well.
Yeah, of course, played a little bit back in my younger days. It's obviously still, whenever I'm around in the winter, pop down to watch the boys play in Railway, and and the women's team as well. Ruth Ann, my wife, has managed the Railway team for 3 or 4 seasons. So I'm usually down there on a Saturday afternoon in October, November.
Yeah, huge occasion for Irish sport. And a huge occasion for Leinster cricket here today at the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup Finals Day. And we've got a really, really interestingly poised semi-final, don't we?
It's very interesting. It's the 3 innings that we've had today. Everyone has been around 70 for 2 or 3 off 10 overs. So, Marion will be looking to finish this innings off slightly better than Leinster did. Talking to the guys, the Leinster players and also the Clontarf players after their match, they thought maybe the 170 wicket was par.
Thompson with his leg breaks doing a superb job for YMCA. Scamper through for just the 1. He's into his 4th over here. He's none for 15. And we were talking about it earlier, just how crucial leg spin is. How impressive have you been by Mitchell Thompson here?
Yeah, extremely impressive. I think he came on, his first over was in the power play, and I think Dave Langford-Smith, first ball, pulled him over mid-wicket for 6. So he's only gone for 9 runs off 3.3 overs or 3.4 overs. So it looks like it's been a very accurate spell of bowling. Doesn't look like much of a turner, but 4 overs for 17 in a T20 semi-final.
You'll take that every day of the week.
Great figures, yeah.
Yeah, so well bowled to a really promising youngster and one to keep an eye on there in the future. I suppose the benefit about getting him on in the power play is that he's now finished his 4 overs already, and he's been able to get out of his spell.
Yeah, of course, but it's difficult to bowl in the power play if as a seamer, let alone a spinner with only two men outside the ring. But obviously, he's done it all tournament. The captain has a lot of trust in his abilities. So it's good to see that he took on the challenge. And as we said, 4 overs for 17 in the semi-final. The coach will be happy.
Yeah, you can't ask for any more than that. Going to be Sam Streak from the far end to continue his 2nd over. And as we were just discussing before we came into this commentary box for this stint, it was interesting to see a 5th bowler used without Harry Tector having yet bowled. So I presume we'll see Harry Tector from the Sandymount end after this over as Streak comes in. It's another wide down the leg side. Sam Murphy can't gather cleanly. They're going to try and push for 2 wides, but kind of lackadaisical running you'd have thought there, really, Kev.
Yeah, certainly there's a couple of 2s now. They could have got 2, the previous over, and they only ran the single. So, yeah, no, maybe it's it's difficult. Tyrone's just come to the wicket, so maybe he's once he gets warmed up, maybe he might be pushing back for those 2s.
Streak into Kane. Just guided down to 3rd man. Just going to be 1 there. Looks like both batsmen just trying to sort of regather the innings before a late surge, really, aren't they? Yeah,
they've got a lot of batting left. Obviously the 2 at the wicket. Dom Joyce in next, I would imagine. So a lot of batting to come. Michael Lewis can hit a big ball as well. Patrick Tice as well, the wicketkeeper. He's no mug with the bat in the lower order.
Streak at a good length through dot ball for YMCA. Punish Mehta really struggling a little here. He's 12 off 19 balls.
Yeah, it looks like there's not much urgency in his innings. He's trying to rotate the strike. That's all well and good, but I'd rather see him looking to hit the boundary fielders, hit it hard out to deep cover. You'll get the one. If you hit it well, you might get the two. Or if there's a misfield, rather than trying to run everything down to third man.
Streaking again, better length this time. That's just going to be a leg by, I think. Waiting for umpire Aidan Seaver's signal, and yes, that is indeed a leg by. So, what do you do as a batsman here? You're 13, we're 12 off 19, 12 off 20 now. Tricky.
It is tricky, it's a stick or twist moment, The first thing is not to panic, because, a couple of balls, all of a sudden you're 22 off 22 again, and you're back at 100 strike rate. But I think for Merrion's case, I think Kane needs to maybe have a little bit more urgency in his innings, and he might take a bit of pressure off Mehta. Driven
square by Kane, just out for one. Very happy to report as well that the sun shines out here in Pembroke, and obviously those of you who know Kevin O'Brien with his red hair beside me, just making sure that he's properly protected, and he's getting a bit of sun cream on next to me here. As Streak comes in, magic piece of work, outstanding from Sam Murphy, leg side wide, but it's a stumping. Aidan Seaver signals the wide, but that's given by umpire Richardson at square leg. Sensational piece of work from Sam Murphy, and that's top class wicket keeping. And it's going to be Mehta who goes. The Merrion pro's gone for a poor innings of 12 off 21 balls. A real difficult stay at the crease. And that's going to bring a former Irish international to the wicket, Dom Joyce. And I don't think I've seen many better leg side stumpings than that, or many better stumpings full stop in Leinster cricket than that. What do you think, Kev?
Let me finish putting on my sun cream. Yeah, great bit of work by Sam Murphy. A young keeper coming through the system in YM. He's played some lightning the Bolts in the Bolts team. He's obviously a prospect as well. He's a middle order batter. Was away with the 19s at the World Cup there in the winter, so a good prospect. Great hands, quick hands as well. I think the bails are off even before Mehta even turned around to try and get back in the crease.
A little bit reminiscent of some super keeping we've seen from the likes of Matt Cross, Gary Wilson, your brother Niall O'Brien, of course, up to the stumps. And it adds a different element to the game, doesn't it? When there's a seamer bowling, but the keeper can stand up, it really plays in the batsman's mind.
Yeah, well, it first of all keeps the batsman in the crease, so they can't step out down the wicket to like they would a spinner. But it's interesting, it's kind of gone out of the game a little bit nowadays. The keeper standing up to the stumps, to the medium pacers.
Magic from Murphy there. Sam Murphy with the gloves on behind the stumps, obviously a representative of the Irish under-19 squad that went down to the ICC Cricket World Cup in New Zealand in January. And again, just fantastic to see. And it's those sort of magic moments that can turn a cup semi-final, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. The momentum is now with YM. 2 wickets in quick succession.
That's going to be signalled wide, Kevin, and that's going to be 5 wides again. That's the second 5 wides from Sam's streak, and that's really, really painful for the YM side.
Yeah, well, it's potentially ruined a really, really good over. But again, T20 is all about looking forward. It's not much you can do about the previous ball. Try and get it out of your head as quickly as you can. As we see the keepers come back now.
Keepers now going back
as a result, maybe of that, the 5 wides we've seen, but. That might allow Tyrone Kane to use his feet and maybe get down the wicket to streak.
So we've seen the brilliant from Murphy, but unfortunately 5 wides conceded there. And they're hurting Streak's figures because he's bowled nicely, but 2 5 wides, that's immediately 10 runs against your total without a ball being bowled.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw in the game earlier on today, wides are absolutely crucial. To try and limit those extras. We speak about maybe 6 wides in a T20 innings. So if you can avoid those 5 wides, of course, at all costs. But it's those wides there. He just slid down the leg side, and then the next one he's overcompensated and he's bowled outside off stump.
Just having a quick look at the batting card here that you'll see on your screen there. David Langford-Smith, the top scorer at the moment, 39 off 31 deliveries. But it's Tyrone Kane and Dom Joyce, an ex-Irish international and a current Irish international, and of course a Test cricketer in Tyrone Kane, who are at the wicket now, and they're going to be crucial. And this how crucial is this partnership for Marion, Kev?
Yeah, it's hugely important. We've spoken about maybe a par being 160. I think, if these two guys can bat another 3 or 4 overs and rotate it maybe at 5, 6, 7 and over, it will set themselves up for the last 4.
And that bowling change we alluded to has indeed taken place. It's Harry Tector on to bowl his off breaks. And you'd have to think he'll probably bowl his 4 over spell right through to the end of the innings now, won't he?
Well, he'll certainly bowl 1 or 2. It'll be difficult as a spinner to bowl 4 overs at the death. But he's done it. He's done it for the Knights, Northern Knights, a lot this season. He's bowled at the death and in the power play. So he's a very skillful bowler. Tends to bowl quicker rather than slower. So he'll obviously look to fire them in here, I think.
Darts it in. Tector to Joyce, and you can see immediately Dom Joyce, even though he's the veteran of this Merrion side, immediately trying to be busy about his work, trying to be quick between the wickets and start to put the pressure back on the YM fielders.
Exactly. YM have had it fairly easy for the last 4 or 5 overs with the running between the wicket. So maybe a bit of pressure on the fielders. We might see some fumbles.
Tector in from the Sandymount end. Short hit straight to the cover fielder. No run there. As you say, there isn't much flight. He gets through his action quickly, doesn't he, Harry Tector?
Well, he's quite tall, so he probably doesn't need to flight the ball as much. But certainly now in this scenario, he's just looking to bowl back of a length, stump to stump, fire it in, to stop the batter coming down the wicket.
Change in action. He's going to come around the wicket. Just the late cut from Kane. He likes that shot. Just works it away for 1. Would you see Harry Tector as a out and out all rounder, or is he more of a batter who bowls?
I think at the moment, he's probably seen as a genuine all rounder. Whether as he progresses, whether he might favour batting more than bowling, but he certainly has ability in both disciplines.
Cricketer of huge talent and ability. Cut away. It's beat the point fielder. And it's beat the cover fielder. That's run away for 4. Disappointment there at deep cover. And that's 4 more. Crucial boundary to the total for Marion. 93 for 4 now in the 13th over.
Yeah, again, good effort from Bobby Gamble out there at deep cover. I'm surprised you haven't seen him bowl yet.
There is so many bowling options in this YMCA side. You're correct, Bobby Gamble's yet to bowl. Down the track comes Dom Joyce, and after he takes that boundary the ball before, he's happy with a single. And that's Tector's first over completed. 13 overs gone. And this Merrion innings is 94 for 4. Time to talk targets, I think, Kev, really. What are they looking at here? 6 overs to go. They've got to go with 10s, really, do they?
Yeah, I think, again, speaking to the Clontarf boys, they felt that Leinster were probably 30 or 40 runs below par. And the first game, Conor Kelly was saying it's a very, very good wicket. So I think maybe minimum 160. Merrion's attack, Merrion do have a very good bowling attack, so they might be able to defend a slightly lower target.
Just going to have a very quick look at this bowling card as well, Kev, because we were talking about those bowling options there. You'll see in the graphics on your screen. Jared Barnes, 2 overs, and they're going to go back to see him. James Parkinson, the Australian, is going to come back into the attack. He's 2 overs, 1 for 24. Mitchell Thompson, outstanding, 4 overs, 1 for 17. And then it's going to have to be a combination of Tector or Abassi, or possibly back to Streak to finish out from the other end.
Well, certainly Barnes and Parkinson will bowl 2, so that's or 2 each. So they'll take them to 4. So yeah, maybe Harry might bowl another 2. And that will allow Parkinson and Barnes to finish out.
Parkinson returns from the Sydney Parade end in. Fellow redhead, Kev.
Yeah, he would have certainly applied the sun cream this morning. That is for sure.
Do you guys have a union, or do you meet up regularly, all the different redheads?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's the ginger union. There's a few of us here. Myself, Parky, as you said. I know we meet up every week, every now and again for a few beers and chat.
Super cricketer James Parkinson. He's going to win to Kane. Kane with his narrow batting stance, back lift up, in at a length, clipped off his legs. Could be half a chance. Pulled out of the effort. And that's Asher Abassi, I think, who was just looking. He looked like he could have dived that with one hand, perhaps.
Yeah, he could have maybe stuck the arm up, stuck the hand up and tried to pluck it out of the air. But I think it was just out of his reach. I think we're being a bit harsh on the young kid. It was a little flick from Kane, and it just kind of looped over mid wicket.
Very animated scenes from the YMCA backroom staff here. Similar shot again from Dom Joyce this time. Hit down to long on. It is misfielded, and Kane is alert to the misfield. Big throw comes into Murphy, but they scamper through for 2. Poor piece of fielding at long on from Harry Tector.
good running from Kane. He was aware to it. Ran the first one very, very quickly. Got in and out of the crease and saw the misfield and scampered back for 2. So a bit of momentum here coming from Merrion.
And these small margins in 2020 cricket can make a massive difference. Parkinson into Joyce now. Driven square by Joyce. Jack Tector mops it up. Just a single there. How fine are those margins in T20 cricket? You see many games won by between 10 and 15 runs. As a side, like in the Ireland setup, where do you look to try and make up those small margins?
Yeah, certainly in the fielding. I think trying to just take a dive, because in most international grounds you're not going to chase it if it beats you in the infield. So trying even to get a finger on it, which will slow it down and which will allow the boundary rider to get in and field the ball.
Bowled him. Absolute beauty from James Parkinson. Kane looking to hit across the line out to the leg side, but he's done them all ends up, and off stump is knocked out of the ground.
Yeah, Tyrone's looking to take the initiative there, with 6 overs to go, looking to up the run rate, but just back of a length and kind of just skidded through, maybe a bit quicker than Tyrone Kane would have thought, and it's just uprooted leg stump, I think.
Is it leg stump? Thank you, Kevin. A real beauty from James Parkinson. No, it's off stump. Knocked out the top of off stump. Difficult to see it exactly from our commentary position here, but Michael Lewis is the new man. He's going to come in at number 7. And this game is ebbing and flowing, isn't it? Just when you think one side's getting on top, a wicket comes or a boundary comes. Yeah,
it just shows 2 very evenly matched teams. I think again, we said it there. This is a crucial period of the game now. Michael Lewis has come in. He usually opens the batting, so I wonder how he finds batting in the middle order of a T20. So it's a crucial partnership. Dom Joyce looks like he's settled in fairly quickly into the crease. He's 13 of 8 balls. So hopefully Michael Lewis can give him as much strike as he can.
Super piece of bowling from James Parkinson. We heard the YMCA coach Alan Lewis talk about just what a good cricketer James Parkinson is. He's been a wonderful servant for the YMCA club. Australian over. Parkinson in this time to Lewis. Guided to backward point. As I show out the stumps, but even a direct hit there. Dom Joyce very quick between the wickets, isn't he? Good athlete still.
Yes, yeah, he's very fit, backing up very aggressively there, and an easy single in the end. The fielder's on the edge of the ring. Lewis just dropping it down there at the backward point and getting off the mark.
So that does not only bring up the 14th over gone, but also the 100 for Marion, and 100 for 5, half of their wickets lost. 6 overs to go. As Kevin O'Brien was alluding in the commentary box next to me, they'll be looking to get up to 150, 160 here. And I think Harry Tector's overs are going to be crucial here at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, he's probably going to make up maybe, probably bowl definitely another 1, obviously. Most likely will bowl 2.
He could bowl all 3.
Well, he could bowl all 3.
Yeah.
But certainly Barnes will bowl another 2, and you'd imagine Parkinson, having got the wicket, he'll finish off as.
But that could be from the far end, and Tector could finish from this end. So it's going to be interesting to see what the captain, his brother, Jack Tector, will do. Harry Tector in round the wicket. Interesting change of pace. We've talked about him mainly bowling quicker. That was slower.
Yeah, to the new man. Maybe he thinks he can get a couple of dots into the new man by taking the pace off the ball.
Shorter of a length this time. Hit straight out to Bobby Gamble. That's going to just be 1. Is Dom Joyce the kind of player who can accelerate quickly, hit big boundaries?
Yeah, he's a classy player. You wouldn't really associate Dom as being a big hitter. I think he's a timer of a cricket ball. He won't necessarily swing that hard, but all of a sudden he'd still hit it over the ropes. He's a very elegant batsman and has been all his career. That should be 2, I think.
And that's great running from Dom Joyce. Scampers through for 2. Nicely clipped into the leg side. I suppose it's a sign of the Joyce family, isn't it? That elegance in their batting, whether it be Cecilia or Isabel. Ed, obviously the legend you played so much cricket with, or Dom. And this is a good. You would have made your one-day international debut with Dom in the team against Ed.
Against Ed in 2006. Yeah, so I played quite a bit with Dom.
After in looking
That's
for
a
the
good
late
shot.
cut. That's beaten short third man. The outfield is fast. And Asher Abbasi has just made the stop, but they're actually going to run through for 3. Again, Dom Joyce showing off his fitness. Saved 1 run at least.
Yeah, good running, good shot. Realised that it was slightly quicker from Tector and just used the pace and as we've seen all weekend, there's so much value in beating third man.
Shorter this time from Tector, hit out to the cover fielder. What was that like, making your one international debut for Ireland against England, a packed Stormont, and you were playing against an Irishman in Ed Joyce? It must have been. What was the chat like in the dressing room with Dom Joyce there?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much chat. It was obviously a long time ago, 12 years now. Still remember quite a lot of the day. But yeah, no, certainly it was a very strange occasion. I don't think it's probably never happened since. Where a brother makes his debut against his brother playing for the opposition team. So it's quite strange, all right.
Down the track, and that is beaten mid-off. It's gone straight through the legs of Tim Tector. A very unfortunate misfield there has run away for 4. A bit of a shocker, that one, Kevy.
Yeah, he just nutmegged himself, I think. But again, the momentum has shifted here. Ever since Dom's come into the crease, he's been urgent at the wicket, using his feet. 18 off 10 balls now. He's setting himself up nicely with 5 overs to go.
Straight through the legs of the unfortunate Tim Tector. We were just talking about that occasion in 2006 in Stormont, and the 2 Joyce brothers playing against each other. You've been so lucky though to have Niall O'Brien, your brother, play so much cricket with you your whole career. Has that been something you've loved?
Oh yeah, it's class. To be able to represent your country with your brother for over 10 years, we've been playing the same team. So it's a special bond. That if you are feeling a little bit down, or you're struggling for form, or you can always pop over to him, have a coffee, or go for a beer and chew the fat.
Interestingly, the YM captain's gone back to Sam Streak, and that first ball has been hit for 4. Interesting bowling choice. 4 more, momentum swinging Merrion's way.
Yeah, 2 balls, 8 runs. The momentum has shifted. That was a good shot by Mick Lewis, dragged wide of long on, and a good effort out on the long on boundary. It just couldn't reel it in. Why
have they gone to Streak here? Is it to avoid Harry Tector having to bowl the last over at this end? Perhaps they're trying to save that James Parkinson for the final over from the Sandymount end.
Potentially. I imagine it was either Streak or Abbasi to bowl this over.
In Fuller. Oh, that's brilliant batting. Third man was up, clipped away. A little bit of an outside edge, but that's flown away for 4.
Guided that down. I think he would have ran it off the face. I think Lewis knew exactly what he was doing. The field has changed, and he's playing with the skipper now. He's third man has come up, and he's just glided it off the bat for 4 runs.
This is 2020 cricket at its very best, ebbing and flowing. And Michael Lewis is proving a very valuable foil to Dom Joyce here. His partnership looks dangerous to me. Yeah, 2 guys who score relatively quickly without hitting the big shots. You're looking at 2 guys who are well over 120 strike rate. Streak in, finds a block hole, beautifully bowled. They're going to scamper through for 1. It might be a leg by... Nope. Aidan Seaver thinks that's come off the inside edge onto the pad. We just have Bill Coughlin walking past in front of us there. He got a nasty black eye, didn't he? Yeah, I think impinge his batting at all. I don't know what happened. I think Joe must have hit him in the warm-ups or something. I think just for our viewers at home, it was a top edge during the warm-ups. And Clontarf, of course, will be the side that the winners of this game will face in the final at 5:30 p.m. Good piece of fielding from the deep there from Asher Abbasi. And Streak just really needs to get out of this over if he can, to give his captain just the 4 overs to play with his real gun bowlers at the end. He hasn't bowled that bad an over. A great shot for 4, first ball, changed the field, good batting running off the face past third man, and then 2 singles. So, and he comes again, the tall Streak, looking for that block hole. That's going to work out okay for him. Just clipped off his legs out to the deep square leg fielder Bobby Gamble for 1 as Murphy tidies up. As you'll see the dart just going by southwards. Wonderful scene here at Pembroke Cricket Club. Wall starting to fill up. I think there's a few in the bar watching the Hockey World Cup semi-final. 1-1 now, Kev. 1-1, yeah. I just got word, so fingers crossed. The girls get over the line. What a shot that is. Powerfully smashed. Dangerous.
into the
and
barbecue.
that's gone all
I
the
think,
way
is
for
it?
6, straight into the barbecue. What a shot from Dom Joyce.
Yeah, shuffled across the crease. Anticipated streak was going to bowl full. Anticipated and like a little kind of slog sweep or a punched sweep shot over square leg.
Speaking of hockey, there was a bit of hockey in that, a bit of
Yeah,
wrist.
it looked like a bit of wrist and just worked it in behind square leg for 6. And again, shows his timing and his class straight off the middle of the bat.
Sensational strike from Dom Joyce. And that's flown. You could see that fly into the crowd there on your live stream pictures that we're providing to you here on Cricket Leinster TV. It's a wonderful scene at Pembroke Cricket Club, LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup Finals Day. And we have Clontarf already through to the final. And YMCA and Merrion, the Sandymount rivals, playing out a thriller here in semi-final 2.
Yeah, it's evenly poised. 4 overs to go. Marion looking like maybe getting 170. That 10 and over from now will get them up to 168.
And this is just how quickly 2020 changes. A little while ago we were talking about, God, 150 might be a good score. You're now saying 170.
It's just, 2 good overs with the bat. We've seen the last 2 overs go for, I don't know, maybe certainly 2 or 3 boundaries in it. They're scoring off every ball. So that's the most important thing. If you're not getting the boundaries, you're rotating the strike and you're pushing 1s into 2s.
Jack Tector, the YM captain, continues to ring the changes. He brings Jared Barnes back on, and he looks like he's going to be looking for the Yorkers. A little bit too full, but no damage done. Just a single by Lewis. Brings Joyce back onto strike. Joyce has looked really dangerous. 29 off 13 so far.
Effortless as well. We haven't seen him swing too hard. He's just again punched into the gaps, ran hard, got a couple of 2s to get his innings going, and then obviously a couple of 4s and that 6 in the last over.
We talked earlier about the experience of the Clontarf side, but the experience of a man like Dom Joyce at the crease is going to be absolutely crucial for Marion today. The tall Barnes comes in from the Sandymount end, finds the block hole driven. Sensational fielding. That's Harry Tector there at mid-off. Picked up one-handed, save 4.
That's unbelievable fielding. Full length dive, one-handed. He was himself and Jack are 2 very good fielders. And perfect in the hot zones we spoke about. Jack's at long on, Harry's at mid-off.
Sensational fielding. Harry Tector dived full length, one-handed, and he saved 3 runs and got Dom Joyce off strike as well. Barnes now to Lewis. Into the block hole. It's flicked off Barnes' boot. I don't think he knew too much about that.
Luckily he saved 3. I don't think Harry would have stopped that like he did the previous ball. But again, good bowling, full and straight. Not letting the batters get under the ball. And it's only resulted in 3 singles so far.
Talk to me about that, not getting under the ball, because the difference between the slot and the block hole is a matter of inches, really, isn't it?
Yeah, especially nowadays, the bats, the bats now, the middle and the bats are a lot lower. Especially some people have specific T20 bats where the middle is a lot lower than normal. Certainly for this type of occasion, the bowler's trying to bowl Yorkers, and if you can get the
length this time from Barnes, a little bit more into the pitch, hit out towards the cow corner fielder. And good piece of fielder from Oliver Gunning. But it's scampered off Murphy, and they're going to just scamper through for 2. Great awareness from the Merrion batters.
Super awareness from Joyce and Lewis. Obviously know each other very well. Lewis has been playing for Marion the last couple of seasons, so great awareness to make that 2.
Looks like YMCA are just a touch rattled right now. What would you think? Barnes in slower this time, change of pace. Appeal for Murphy behind the stumps, but not out. Do they look a bit rattled, Kev?
Yeah, it's just the momentum. The Marion have taken a bit of the momentum back. If Marion can finish these 4 overs or 3.2 overs, if they can finish strongly, as we said, get up to maybe 170, maybe even more. With their bowling attack, it's going to prove a difficult run chase. But we're in for a cracker of a game. That is for sure.
Barnes in, finds the block hole. Harry Tector roars, great finish in the background. He's happy with that. It's going to be the end of the 17th over of the innings. Marion now 134 for 5. Dom Joyce 33 not out. Michael Lewis 15 not out. Just the 3 overs to go here, Kev. It's going to be interesting to see if we can get up to that 170 that you were talking about.
Yeah, you've got Parkinson coming on. He's going to finish his quote on now. You've got Barnes to bowl one more. Be interested to see who's going to bowl the last over. Will they go back to streak? Will Harry Tector bowl? Or will it be a Bassi?
There's been so many different bowling options available for YMCA that we can see they've really shuffled the pack, haven't they? There's almost been a change every over, with the exception of Thompson bowling his 4 overs straight through. And I don't think that's any coincidence that Thompson bowled his 4 overs straight through, and they're the best figures that there are.
Yeah, I think, speaking to the Clontarf players earlier on, they were saying the slower you bowl, the harder it is to bat. So maybe the slower bowlers are more effective.
Parkinson in, clip to the leg side, clip really powerfully, but that's straight to Bobby Gamble. Just going to be one there. He's timed the pants off that.
It's come off his bat like a tracer bullet. Must be one of Ed's old bats, I think.
I think he might have had his Weetabix this morning, is what we're saying. He's looking in imperious form. A wonderful player, Dom Joyce, fine Irish international. Is he somebody you could have maybe played more for Ireland, do you think?
Yeah, I think, probably if he was around this era, he certainly would have added plenty more caps, but, probably at a time when it was more amateur.
Ian hit down the ground towards long on. Taken. Wonderful catch, another wicket. The 6th wicket of the innings. Ashir Abbasi with the grab. He made that look very easy, didn't he?
Yeah, very, very easy. We were just talking about YMCA being rattled. Maybe that's the wicket they needed. Getting rid of the dangerous Lewis. 15 off 10 balls. He was looking good. And Patrick Tice coming into bat, but great catch.
That really was a sensational grab from Ashir Abbasi. You've just seen the replay. He made it look so easy. Yeah, he didn't even celebrate.
It was like Conor Kelly in the other game, when he took the cotton bowl, just nonchalantly plucked it out of the sky and just rolled the ball back to the umpire. So
perhaps not many from the Imran Tahir School of Celebration here today, and maybe just indicating that there are a little bit of nerves out there.
Yeah, it's a semi-final. A big day for these guys. The cameras are here, and it's finals day. They don't come around all the time, so you got to cherish them when they're here.
It's something you've loved during your career, isn't it? The big stage, Kev.
Yeah, I do enjoy. I think I play my best cricket when there's a crowd around.
Why is that, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't describe it. It's just something I have. I just love the pressure.
Talk about getting in the zone. Kev O'Brien's the man who gets in the zone for the big day. So's Dom Joyce. That's inside out over the extra cover from Dom Joyce. That's going to be 2. He's looked in wonderful nick here, Joyce. And great dedication from Parkinson to make sure there's no overthrow there as well. He didn't want another run against his bowling figures.
He knocked it on there. They nearly could have got a third, but I think Dom wanted to strike. Joyce is crucial to the Merrion setting a total here. 2.5 overs to go. Parkinson almost finished the spell. Barnes to bowl one more. Again, we said maybe getting up to 160, 170.
Short this time, looks for the pull, top edge, down towards third man. Can he come around? Another brilliant catch. It's a 7th wicket. Looks like Mitchell Thompson to me. And that's another cracking catch. The third man becomes a wicket-taking position again, Kev.
Yeah, we saw it in the first game. David Delaney on that occasion. And this time it's Parkinson, back of a length. Dom looked to swing it over the leg side, just took the top edge, and what a catch by Mitchell Thompson, running from wide third man, and kind of took the catch at long stop almost. Super catch. And that's just put a dent in the Marion first innings.
Just taking a look at the bowling figures on your screen there with the graphic that has come up. That's the 4th wicket for James Parkinson. What a spell of bowling. 3.4 overs, 4 for 33. Sensational figures. Jared Barnes, 3 overs, 1 for 11. And
4 big wickets as well. You look at, he's got Parkinson's got Joyce, Lewis, and also Tyrone Kane. So four crucial wickets.
Just 2 overs to go after this one, so it does mean we will have 1 spare over needing to be bowled. Obviously, Jared Barnes will probably bowl the 19th or 20th, but who's going to bowl that last over, do you think, Kev?
I would probably go for Abbasi. But saying that, it depends what the tactics are for YM. Maybe Streak Streak has 2 for 39 off 3. It might be a chance to get him on, and it's always you get confidence by getting wickets.
You get a sense that over is going to be crucial because obviously Jared Barnes very economical, very consistent, starting with that wicket maiden as well. Parkinson comes in to Patrick Tice, the batsman crossed with that top edge going all the way down to third man. He just works that down to long on. Powerful throw from Abassi, who I think is still buzzing after that catch he took.
Yeah, for sure.
Extra oomph in that.
Yeah, he fired that in, didn't he? But the batsmen are looking for 2, which is good to see. Good running. I think that if it's going to be Streak, I think he needs to bowl the next over. Because you've got 2 new batsmen in. You don't want to leave Streak to bowl the last over.
Sean Stanton, the new batter there, who's now facing. And it's going to be the last ball of Parkinson's spell, looking for the 5-wicket haul. He's not going to get it. And he's not going to get a run out with a wicket either. Patrick Tice is going to scamper through and they're going to run an overthrow. Really brilliant awareness from Patrick Tice to not only get the second run but get back on strike.
Yeah, great running. Drop and run. 2 young guys obviously backing up aggressively. But it finishes a good spell of bowling from Parkinson. 4 wickets, 36 runs. He's taken out the heart of the Merrion top order, and he'll be happy with his day's work. And he hits a big ball as well with the bat, so he'll come in handy second innings.
So it's going to be Jared Barnes to bowl the 19th over, which will mean that we will have a 20th over needing to be bowled by one of either, whether that's going to be Harry Tector, Sam Streak, or an other. It will be interesting to see. But Jared Barnes is going to bowl the 19th. Tice looks for the scoop, misses out. Second ball he's faced, he's gone for the scoop. What do you think of that?
Well, the field. Look at the field. Fine leg is up. Judging by Barnes' last over, he bowled 4 Yorkers. So it's probably a fair chance he's going to go full and straight again. So not a good option by Tice. Obviously Barnes saw him, so fired it outside off stump.
Barnes clearly looking to go full. Will he look full again? He does, into the block hole. That's super bowling. Can't do an awful lot with that, can you?
You can't, and Barnes is a great execution of his Yorkers here today. He's played a couple of games for Leinster Lightning this year. And I think
in the 3-day stuff, isn't he?
In his 3-day stuff, but I think one of his main skills is death bowling. He's got a good slower ball, as we've seen here. He's got a very accurate Yorker. Doesn't really miss the block hole too often.
Barnes into Stanton now. Look like a slower ball. He's really varying it up. This has been an outstanding spell, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, 3 overs. What is he? 3.3 overs, 1 for 11. The Marion batters haven't been able to get on top of him. Obviously, starting with a wicket maiden helps. But bowling 2 overs in the power play up front and bowling 2 overs at the back end, and only going for at the moment 3.47 and over. It's a great spell of bowling.
He's showing the different skills that you need to succeed as a 2020 bowler, and he's showing them very effectively. Going to come into Tice this time. Tice looked for the ramp again. He gets it away this time. It's gone straight over the keeper's head. But Fineleg was aware to that, and he's going to run around and save 2. Super
good feeling, yeah. You could see there before the batter actually hit the ball, you could see Fineleg had actually ran 3 or 4 yards to his right, so anticipated it very well and saved the single.
So we've got Barnes with just the 2 balls left in his spell. He's going to look to close it out. And amazing. We talked about how impressive David Delaney was with his extreme pace. Jared Barnes doesn't have that extreme pace, but equally as impressive a spell of bowling from the tall South African. Hit towards mid-off. That's just going to be 1. No power in the drive from Stanton.
Missed out there. That was in the slot. I think that's the first one Barnes has missed. With the opportunity with mid-off on the edge of the ring, could have got that through the gap or even hit it over mid-off's head, but just missed out.
Seven balls left in the innings for Marion to capitalise on. A little bit in the slot again. Hit hard down towards long on. That's Jack Tector. And he fires it in quickly. There's only ever going to be 1 run there. You don't get a chance for 2 really straight here at Pembroke. It's relatively short straight.
Well, the only way you can get it is if it's a misfield. And the guys are running very aggressively. But, as we said, Jack Tector's probably one of their better fielders and he's in the hot zone at long on. So, and as we see, Sam Streak's coming on to bowl his his final over.
Yeah, just as Sam Streak comes on to bowl that final over, we'll just take a quick look at the Merrion batting card. David Langford-Smith is going to end up top scorer with that 39. Dom Joyce a crucial knock of 36 at a great strike rate off just 20 balls. And with just 1 over to go in the innings, Merrion are 145 for 7. Sam Streak, a young, tall, fast bowler. Be nervous now bowling this last over, would you?
I think he's the captain has confidence in him to execute the skills, and he's 2 wickets already today. So again, bowling at the end of innings, you really have to want to do it. Obviously, you can get wickets, but there's a chance you can go for runs. So you just got to have confidence in your ability, set the field accordingly, and bowl the ball that you think is the best ball to bowl at that time.
So he's going to be Streak. Going to bowl to former Ireland Under-19 international Patrick Tice. Walks across his crease, right into the block. A lovely Yorker length from Streak. As you said, he executed his skills there, didn't he?
Yeah, the death bowling's been very good from YM. We've obviously seen Barnes the last couple of overs. Streak here now started off with a perfect Yorker. The field is set for a straight Yorker with long on, deep mid wicket, a deep square leg and a deep fine leg. So potential little reverse lap could be on here.
Interesting to see if Stanton looks to that. Going to want to get bat and ball down the track very correctly to mid-off. YMCA happy with singles at this stage. Is this around a par total? Do you think it's maybe even under par?
Yeah, I think when Joyce and Lewis were going, I think they would have been looking at maybe 160, 170. Losing 2 wickets in 1 over is not going to help. Losing to 2 set batters as well, which is crucial in 2020 cricket to try and avoid having 2 new men at the crease at the same time.
Streak in again from the Sydney Parade end. Tall looks for that Yorker. The reverse lap that Kevin O'Brien called has just been attempted by Patrick Tice. No contact made, but a leg by. We're going to have to give you huge kudos there.
Yeah, just with the field. Obviously, Tice is a hockey player. His sister's actually playing. Elena Tice is playing in the semi-final, so he probably has favoured the wrist work in the shot. So a reverse lap could be a good option for him.
Yeah, Patrick Tice's sister Elena representing Ireland so well. Over mid-off there from Stanton. And that just wasn't the right length. He missed his length, and that was there to be hit.
Yeah, that's the fine margins of T20, He's bowled an excellent over up to now. 3 perfect Yorkers. Missing a Yorker by maybe a foot or 2, and it's resulted in 4 runs. But he's changing the field now. Fine leg's coming up. No, square leg is coming up, and mid off is going back to the boundary. So I think maybe I'm going to try and call it again. Step across the stumps and sweep it past square leg.
I think it might be the wrong batter on strike to call it. Patrick Tice would have done that. But Stanton's going to look down the ground. He's straight to long on. Taken. Another wicket. Powerfully struck, but a 3rd wicket for Sam Streak.
Straight to the fielder. Abbasi didn't have to move. Again, just nonchalantly just takes that out of the sky and just rolls the ball back to the umpire.
I don't think he does celebrations, Abbasi.
I like
believe in them.
I like it. I like the way he takes those catches. Nice and calm. Obviously he trusts his ability. Takes the catch and no big fuss or anything. Just rolls it back to the umpire.
Yeah, super work from Abbasi at long on. That was certainly easier than the first catch he took. There's going to be Tom Stanton in at number 10 for Merrion. Just 2 wickets left in the innings. But more crucially, just 1 ball left in the innings. Merrion CC 152 for 7. Kev's indicating that we could be on for a sweep here. Let's see. He's looked for the scoop. It's gone straight over the keeper. Not huge power on it. Certainly going to be 2. Could be a run-out opportunity, but Tice gets back for 2. And they'll be happy with that. That's going to close the Merrion innings. Merrion 154 for 8 from their 20 overs. Let's just take a quick look at that batting card there, Kevy. As you can see here in front of you, we have the top scorer, David Langford-Smith, 39. That lovely cameo from Dom Joyce at 36. Anything else stand out for you?
Nothing really. A lot of guys kind of got in, but they took too much time to get in. Punish Mehta 12 off 20, Tyrone Kane 7 off 12. Those are the types of innings that those innings stole setting a target, but a big thing is the wides, 16 wides, and I know for sure Marion will be a lot more disciplined than that, so that could come down. That could be crucial in the second innings.
The bowling figures: Sam Streak 3 for 46, and the standout James Parkinson 4 for 36. But a special mention also for Jared Barnes and Mitchell Thompson. Very economical figures. We're going to be back with you in about 10 minutes' time, where YMCA CC will need 155 runs to advance to the final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup.
Good afternoon. You're very welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club for the second semi-final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. It's Merrion against YMCA, and Merrion scored 154 in their innings, and YMCA just about to get their chase underway. I'm Peter Boyd, and I'm bringing you this production on Cricket Leinster TV by HBV Studios. I'm very glad to say that here sitting beside me as a guest commentator we have the assistant coach to the Ireland international team, Rob Castle, is here beside me. Rob, you're very welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. It looks like a great day ahead. A competitive total on the board, and it's anyone's game from here, I think.
It really is. We were looking at different times through that first innings. I commentated on the first 10 overs, and YMCA were really on top, and then all of a sudden there was a bit of a partnership built up between Michael Lewis and Dom Joyce, and it's kind of on a knife edge really now. It's hard to predict where this might go. As Tyrone Kane comes in now to bowl the first over of the chase. And Tyrone, obviously someone that you've been looking after over the last while and come into regular contact with within the Irish setup.
Yeah, absolutely. He played in a game yesterday, and he didn't actually start that well in the Bangladesh game yesterday, but that ball looked right on the money with a bit of a way swing at about 130k an hour, so good start from TK there.
Yeah, I was down there watching the Wolves yesterday, and he did struggle a little bit in that first opening spell. Both himself and Chaser, Peter Chase, were struggling a little bit early on, but came back and both of them taking 3 wickets. That's carved away, backward a point, and nobody there to cut that off. That's 4 runs, and the chase is up and running. YMCA dugout getting very excited as they get up and running there.
Looked a decent shot there, just a little bit of width for the batsman on offer. TK just dragging his length a little bit short there and a little bit wide. It's fast becoming a very difficult time to bowl the power play. I think at international level, it's we saw last night in the game, Middlesex and Surrey with some massive scores, so the power play will be very important here.
Comes in again, well delivered. But it is definitely something that we're looking at across the board now in T20 cricket. You know, somebody said this morning when we arrived, going back to when they played in T20 finals day, or in T20 competitions back in the 70s and 80s, and you defended 80 and there was no fielding restrictions. You could have everyone back on the boundary, but those types of days, they are really gone. You might defend somewhere around 100, might be still a possibility of defending, but it's really a batsman's game now, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. The pitches are getting a bit flatter and the boundaries are certainly getting smaller.
And that one down to third man there from Jack Tector, single, and moves on to 5.
Yeah, Jack just coming back from a broken finger. He's had some time out of the game, so he'll be looking to get going nice and early here.
He's another player. Tried to get a bit of time during the week with the Irish Academy side, playing against the Australian Future Stars, but the weather stymied any chance of them getting in their 4-day. Then it turned into a 3-day, a 2-day. But at the end of it all, they got a 50-over match in on Thursday up in Belfast. But he's someone that hopefully won't have too many times out of the game now as we go forward, as Tyrone Kane comes in again.
Big swing and a miss there. Yeah. Just a good length ball from TK again there. The batsman wanted to hit that over the side screen by the looks. So
you were saying there about Tyrone Kane bowling yesterday with the Wolves, and it's a good mix of that Wolves side that's pulled together down in Oak Hill and then move on up to the hills in Clontarf in the series with Bangladesh.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there.
Excited by the look of the bowlers that are the mix of bowlers that you have in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of excitement there. TK, the swing specialist, and we've got Peter Chase, who's
as that one goes right up in the air, Tyrone Kane pulls it on himself and he holds on. And Marion are right in amongst this with a wicket in the first over. And YMCA are 5 for 1.
I wonder if he just held that ball back a bit. That might have looked like a little bit of an off-pace delivery. I'm not sure. It might have just held in the wickets, but certainly didn't go anywhere.
So what happens there? That one seemed to be all right. Seemed to be threw a shot a little bit early and skied it in the air, but Tyrone Kane called it on himself. Safety, takes the cotton balls.
I'd like to think that was a bit of a knuckleball that Tyrone Kane's been working on recently, so it's one of our good learning experiences from playing against India with the likes of Bhuvi Kumar and Jasprit Bumrah bowling a knuckleball that really bamboozled our top order, so from that game, we've been working on some knuckleballs with the opening bowlers, especially in the power play in T20, where batters are looking to clear the front leg and go big.
Well, that's made a big difference. That first over takes a wicket with the final ball of the over. It's 5 for 1 after 1. Oliver Gunning, the next batsman in for YMCA, and it's Jack Carty who'll open the bowling from the Sandymount end of the ground. But that's very much something that for the bowlers, I suppose, that you're trying to encourage is that variation. It's not just about death bowling and having variation at the end. It's from the very beginning, really, now that they need to be able to do their variations.
Yeah, I think T20, it's important to have some options available. So, there are some bowling coaches who just say just continually bowl top of off in the first 6, but
no run there for Gunning to get off the mark from Jack Carty's delivery, but yes, as you're
saying.
But
I think even with the power play with only 2 fielders out, you do have to mix things up a little bit. I think especially on a good wicket, if there's some powerful batsmen at the crease, you've got to try and mix it up and bowl the odd bouncer, bowl the odd knuckleball, just to keep the batsman guessing. If you talk to most of the batters, you talk to Paul Stirling at the moment, where he wants the ball, he wants it in his arc, so he can hit it over the top.
And that one's up in the air as well, and it's a second wicket. And John Anderson, safe hands, I think it is there. He wasn't going to let that one go. And Oliver Gunning doesn't hang around for long. So that's the second wicket for Merrion. It's 5 for 2. And this chase of 155 is certainly looking a tall order now. It's 2 early wickets for Marion.
That one again looked to just bounce a bit off, back of a length ball. Just looked to be surprised by the bounce, and he scooped it up to mid-wicket there. But
it's certainly something that I think we've seen it throughout both games today. That pace off the ball seems to have been effective. It's been difficult for the batsman to put pace onto the ball, and it seemed to run his fingers down the side of the ball, a little off cutter maybe. And John Anderson certainly wasn't going to drop that.
As the Tector brothers are at the crease now, it'll be interesting to see how they play this. Do they keep going? Do they play cricket shots, or do they bunker down for a little bit and try and just steady the ship a little bit here? But there's different views on that in world cricket, I'm sure. So chasing 154, do they keep going here, or do they just try and noodle it around for a couple of overs?
Well, we've certainly seen probably one of the more successful one-day sides with captained by Owen Morgan in England. They would say you keep going and you keep playing your shots and you back it to come off more often than not. But there's also a school of thought here now. We just had 8 deliveries and 5 for 2 here now. There is a little time for consolidation for YMCA.
And if that shot's any indication there, a solid forward defence from Harry facing his first ball. He might look to get a bit of a read on the pitch, and is it coming through, is it not? What shots can I play and what I can't play? You're right, England at the moment do seem to be just hell for leather, go, and that's the way their batting lineup is best suited.
It does also depend on your lineup as well. When you have a team like them who really do bat 1 to 11 as well, you can afford to do that, because if you do end up 5-6 down, you can then possibly change and try and keep the wickets in hand at the end and bat to the finish. But if you only bat to 1 to 4, you do need to be careful in club cricket as well of how far you do bat down in the lineup. Jack Carty coming in once again, and down the leg side there.
Yeah, right. I think England have a very clear strategy in the way they go about their T20 cricket. They've got, they've got plenty of power with the bat. They've got, fast bowling. They've got good spin options. They do go hell for leather. They go for the whole way. And the first 3 balls that Harry Tector's face there was, solid forward defence, and a little noodle to the leg side. So that's his game, and that's great.
It's a lovely shot from Jack Tector. Wasting no time getting back into the rhythm of things, and carved daisy cutter all along, square the wicket, 4 runs.
Nice cricket shot there. Just a bit full and a bit wide there from Jack Carty. The point fielder might be a little bit disappointed there. I can't see the angle, but just judging from his reaction, he might have dived over the top of that one.
Like we've seen all day, and at the T20 Interprovincial Festival, the outfield here is so quick that unless you time it exactly, you're beaten very, very easily here, and the ball just races away to the boundary. So that's the end of the second over, and it brings YMCA up to 10 for 2. And it will be Tyrone Kane continuing on this long run up that he has. I don't know if it's something that you talk about as a coach with him, or is it just do you leave it to him as a personal thing with the run up that he has?
We had a bit of a discussion about that yesterday. I'd like to shave about 2 or 3 metres off it. I think he can bowl exactly the same pace and exactly the same rhythm just by shaving 2 or 3 metres off. But it's something to work on in the off season. It's hard to do
during the season. It is tough to do and work on these different things. Yeah. But it's certainly something that is noticeable, and particularly on kind of club grounds and things like that, where you don't have that extra yardage of an international ground. Perhaps you can see that he's way outside the ring at times, almost touching the boundary before he starts his run up.
Yeah, he does start outside the circle. It's a bit West Indian like, isn't it? Yeah. The West Indian cricketers were steaming in off the sight screen, but finding the time to change that is very difficult to do mid-season, as I said. So we just need a few training sessions. Possibly, in our winter here, we might be able to look to minimise his run-up a little bit, just to make it more efficient.
And drop down to the outside, and good single taken there now between the Tector brothers. You'd hope that the calling and the running between the pair of them should be good. Plenty of backyard cricket being played.
Absolutely. That probably didn't even need to call there. That was excellent. And that was a solid forward defence, and I'd like to see the Tector brothers do that. If they're going to play a solid forward defence, always look for a single straight after it. Try and drop and run. Try and score off every ball here. Don't just block the ball and be happy with that. Always look for a single. Score off every ball. We'll get them home here. If
they're scoring off every ball and then putting the odd boundary away as well, they make light work of this chase. And nice delivery there from Tyrone Kane. And Tyrone is one of those things, those players that I've come into good contact with throughout the season, following the Leinster Lightning around the country. Between himself and Peter Chase as well. They've name checked yourself, Rob, this across the summer of the work that you've been doing with them. And I know it's difficult to change things in mid-season, but is there anything in particular that you've been working on or changing their training and attitude that has brought on that improvement and reason for their upturn in fortunes this summer? As that one's played away into the offside again. They may run away for 4 more. Good chase down by the fielders. Unfortunately, not good enough though. As they go into the Cairn signs, it's 4 more. But yeah, just to go back to the bowling point, is there anything that you've been specifically working on?
I must commend the work ethic of the two. Tyrone hasn't had a contract for a lot of the pre-season, or a lot of this season actually. But it's been able to get to a lot of training sessions. Same with Peter Chase. But I think the biggest thing I've tried to do is talk about strategy. Both in the power play and at the death in white ball, but also to get enough volume into bowling our Yorkers and our length balls and our slow balls. It's amazing how much work is required to become elite and master of the out the back of the hand slow ball. So what we're doing, when we're stuck indoors at North County in the pre-season, it was a lot of slow balls out the back of the hand. At times 50, 60 in a row of them, just to get the feel of it. So I've been around to a few clubs recently as well and asked how many Yorkers have you bowled in the last month to a few of the players, and they often just say 2 or 3. It's not going to get anyone any better.
It's all about practice and repetition, and it is something that to look at as Tyrone Kane finishes that third over. It's 15 for 2 now, chasing 155. And because it is something, and one thing I noticed was, in particular, was in the T20 Interprovincial up in Breedy, Peter Chase was under a lot of pressure. The Leinster Lightning were defending 99 in the T20 match, and as I said, it's not often that you defend such a low score, but he did credit a lot of the work that he'd put in on working on those Yorkers. He bowled 2 exquisite Yorkers that finished that game off, took 2 wickets right at the death, and like I say, he was complimenting yourself and the work that he'd put in with you on working on those Yorkers. So it's definitely a mindset as that one goes up and over the top.
Lovely shot.
That's a cracking shot from Harry Tector. Beautifully played. 4 more to the score, and before you know it, these two Tector boys could take the game in YMCA's direction.
I was at that game with Peter Chase, closed out really well. It was an exciting game. I think the lower the score, the better. That's the bowling coach talking, but he certainly did close out very well, and he had a great over against India as well. He didn't execute as well that game, but he got some of the biggest players in the world out.
Oh, and that's driven through a bit of a fumble, but it's fielded on. A good running again, coming back, getting their skates on between the pair of them. And another couple to the score. Yeah, certainly that must have been some feeling for a local club man in Malahide on his home ground in front of a full house to get those wickets against India. That's some experience.
Yeah, absolutely. We were certainly chuffed in getting those players out, but talking before the match, we tried to take the player out of it, and if we execute our ball, no matter who we're bowling to, it shouldn't really matter. So,
and Harry sent back this time.
That one looked to have kept a little bit low, I must admit. We've seen a few maybe bounce a bit off the length, and this one just a little bit low, so there's a bit of variable bounce maybe for the quicks. It's good to see the Tector brothers very busy out there at the moment. I think, as I said before, if they block and run, drop it in the little 2 or 3 metre radius of where they are, they can always scamper through for a single.
Cut away backward a point there by Harry Tector. He's disappointed, but Michael Lewis with the fielding there, cutting it off. And just a single added to the score.
I think what was pleasing to see from the YM's bowling performance at the finish there, I saw a lot of good Yorkers nailed at the end there, and I think they closed out reasonably well.
That's cut away. Jack Tector this time, and as we cut off, not just another couple to the score, and they're doing it in relative comfort at the moment. The two lads just building a score, building that partnership after the early setback of the 2 early wickets that fell. Jack Tector coming down, and that's a dot ball to finish the over, and it's 24 for 2 off the first 4. So it's been paid back a little here in the first power play. Well, a little bit of a recovery on by Harry and Jack Tector after the loss of the 2 early wickets in Abbasi and Gunning, what left them 5 for 2. I'm just thinking in the fact that you're in the middle of the series with Bangladesh for the Ireland Wolves, and you've another series for the Ireland senior men's team against Afghanistan coming up. So it's a busy period of time for you as a coach. Are you enjoying the fact that you're working with both the current generation and both the future generation at the same time?
Absolutely. It's a big month ahead for us. Tyrone Kane comes in again. Dot ball, just blocked back to the bowler. Interesting to see this is the third over from Tyrone Kane. 3 in the power play. But yes, we do have a solid month of cricket coming up, and I think it's great for the Wolves and the Wolves players to get those opportunities against quality opposition in Bangladesh. My first tour was to Bangladesh with the Wolves, and we were beaten 5-0 over there in foreign conditions. So hopefully we can turn the tables on them in our conditions here.
Harry Tector just into the onside for a single, and yesterday's was a bit of a disappointing performance overall. Wednesday's game was washed out, just to 5 overs possible, and then yesterday, after pegging them back really and restricting them for a while in the middle overs, they got up to 289, but really poor performance with the bat in the end yesterday afternoon. Were you disappointed?
I think overall we were disappointed, but there were some positives to take out. I thought JJ Garth bowled really well, so did David Delaney, the 2 younger guys in that team. After a poor start, they really did peg it back beautifully. JJ through the middle, David Delaney bowled with pace and aggression. He's an exciting prospect for the future. But I thought, after a poor start, we did get it back, and the boys closed out really well at the death. It was great to see some plans and some clear plans, and execution was quite good as well. So I'm a big believer in the bowler taking ownership at the death, and I'm bowling this ball. Do I need to move my field, and then can you execute it?
And it's carved away from Jack Tector, and just a single out. Just wore that one really. Just got the whole body behind it, making sure that it wasn't going to go over the boundary rope.
It's a good tackle down there from Max. It was bobbling on the way down. Still like to see him just move through the ball a little bit there. Just come at the ball a bit. Don't go backwards. Even though it is bobbling down at you. You can always get it on a little half volley, or if you move at it a little bit, it'll kick up and become knee height and you can get it in the hands. Easier sitting here than saying that though.
It's always easier from the sidelines. It pops up again off the bat. I wonder, was that a little bit of that knuckleball again there, just taking a little pace off it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here. I'd like a radar gun to see, but it looked just a little bit off pace. I wonder if he was a knuckleball or did he roll the fingers on it. There's a bit of a leading edge. Tyrone Kane is probably one of our better exponents of the knuckleball at the moment. He's grasped it quite quickly and has been working on it for the last month and trying to get the volume in before, as I said.
And obviously, Rob, you came over to Ireland last year. You had a pretty good CV and coming with you, and coming over to as that one just an overstep from Tyrone Kane that time. So bring on the free hit for Harry Tector. But like I said, you had the CV coming over, and you had a good crop of youngsters. I remember asking you at the time when you came over about who you knew and what have you. As you've been setting the net fairly wide and in your search for young bowlers and young talent to work with. And you just see what Harry Tector makes of this free hit first. And he goes, swings hard, and that is wide of Patrick Tice, the wicket keeper, and edges all the way down for 4 more. Vacant third man area, and that's 4 more to the score. And that's the end of the 5th over. It's 31 for 2. But yeah, as I said about...
Yeah, that does hurt, TK just overstepping the ball before there and having to bowl the extra ball that goes for 4, so... I can just sense a bit of a momentum shift there. The Merrion boys are a bit flat after that one ball, so it's an important over coming up here. Last over of the power play.
Yeah, before we go on to talk about the young bowlers you've been scouting around the country, we have David Langford-Smith to bowl the 6th over, the last one in the power play. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that's possibly at the other end of the scale compared to the young bowlers that you're scouting around the country at the moment.
Yeah, it's great to see. I've been around to a few club training sessions and watched a few club games at the weekend as well. It's great to see the club scene really thriving here in Ireland. The numbers they get at training are quite good as well. So, but yeah, so there's quite a good crop coming through. I'm happy with the bowling depth we've got. Through various ages. Obviously, at the moment in the senior team, we've got Boyd Rankin and Tim Murter as the senior guys, I guess, playing the different formats. And we've also got a very good young crop coming through.
As Dave Langford-Smith makes his way in, and he's driven away. We'll cut off a mid-wicket there. But yeah, there's a good crop of youngsters coming through, and from all around the country as well. But we've certainly got a few within the Leinster setup as well, that we'll be looking to see come through and perform for internationally as well.
Absolutely. Max Neville and David Delaney, it's good to see Max coming back playing this game after a foot injury.
As that one races away to the boundary, it's 4 more. Cut through backward point by Jack Tector. A little bit of width offered up to him there, and he cashes in.
His first 2 balls are very, very full this over. I'm not sure if he's trying for a Yorker or is he trying for a length ball. The change of the field now, the deep point goes back.
Well fielded by Mehta there, but they're still managing to take that single, and after the boundary taking the single, good cricket from the batters, but frustration for the bowler again, letting them get that single as well.
Yeah, there's another fuller ball. I think that seems to be the method here. Is trying to close out this power play with some Yorkers.
And there, that fielder that's been pushed back onto the boundary comes into play, and instead of going for 4, it's reduced down to a single. So, is that a field responding to a bad ball or good field placement?
Well, it's gone straight to the fielder, so you have to give the benefit of the doubt there to the bowler. But it is difficult with only 2 out to, can you protect a quadrant of the ground and get the batsman to hit there? And I think the field set is so important in T20 cricket that the batsman scans the field. He's going to try and hit it where the fielders aren't. So it's a real game of cat and mouse.
Driven straight down the ground this time. Max Neville does well. Straight up into the hands, but hangs on.
Moving through the ball there, Max. Well done.
Like you said, that whole cat and mouse game of setting the field and everything, that's something that you'd be encouraging all the bowlers, particularly the young guys, to be confident in setting their own field and taking charge of that situation as well. As that one's driven back to the bowler. As that
6 attempted Yorkers there, I think that over. That must have been a bit of a chat with the captain there to close out the power play with 6 Yorkers, and he nailed quite a few of them there, so it's a decent over.
So, as I say, closes out the power play. It's 38 for 2. So
back to your question, Pete. Sorry, but yeah, I do believe the bowler needs to take ownership and in conjunction with the captain. But it's I think the bowler has to sort of run in believing that his plan is going to work, and we've done a lot of work on that, and setting fields, and we are going to make some mistakes along the way. But I think that's the quickest way for our guys to learn and learn from their mistakes. And it's not complicated. I think sometimes we think it's we overcomplicate it as coaches sometimes, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible for the guys and give them 2 or 3 options at the death to select from, and they go 100% committed to each of those. And
make sure at the top of their mark that they know exactly what they're planning on bowling, and there's nothing that coming in or indecision or anything like that they know exactly what they're looking to produce.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we've got batters moving around the crease as well these days, so that adds another challenge for us. But I think, as I said before, sometimes you can set fields that make the batsman move, so sometimes we know where they're going to move to.
That's another top edge from Jack Tactor, well fielded, but Langford Smith there on the boundary. And Punish Mehta has come on to bowl the first over out of the power play, the 7th. And again, YMCA just keeping that scoreboard ticking along. Singles here and there in the odd boundary, but this partnership beginning to build, so it's an important phase of the game at the moment.
It's always a fascinating phase. Just out of the power play, the field goes back. Often you see the scorecard reduce some boundaries, and the picket fence builds, the 1-1-1.
Drop down there, Michael Lewis can't quite cut it off, gets down to third man. Just a single though again.
Yeah, good start here from Punish.
When you look at the overseas professionals that are brought into the club game in Ireland, is it something that are you looking at their abilities and what they can offer as well to try and help out some of your younger bowlers? Do you link in with them at all as what they offer within a club scene?
Absolutely, I think the quality of professionals here is excellent. Not just in the Leinster region, but all over the country. So we had Punish down a couple of times around the Test match to bowl with us, and because he's such a high quality bowler, he swings it both ways, and no doubt he's offering advice down at Merrion to the younger bowlers, and that's great to see. That transferred some knowledge, which I'm also encouraging with our guys to. How do you hold the ball? How do you grip a knuckleball? How do you bowl out the back of the hand slow ball, and discuss with each other to find the best way for each bowler.
Now a run there for Punish Mehta. I suppose when you're spending so much time together as a cricket team, you have a lot of time together, matches and daily, you may as well pick their brains throughout that time and try and pick up as much information, soak it up like a sponge while you have them there with you during the summer.
Absolutely, I think it's we do have a lot of time to sit around and talk as cricketers, so we may as well make use of it. I think a lot of people don't like to talk cricket away from the field, but I'm probably the opposite. You're always living and breathing it.
Oh, it's a lovely delivery there. And well held onto by Patrick Tice behind the stumps. Of course, he's be celebrating as behind the wickets. Yeah, just
his swing back in that ball. I think the ball before was an off-pace ball, and then that one was pace on again. It just got through him a bit quick, but it looked like it swung back in a little bit. Couldn't have missed the stumps by much.
I was saying there, Patrick Tice celebrating his sister and her teammates in the Irish hockey team qualifying for the World Cup final just as he took the field in this LHK Insurance Alan Murray semi-final. So an extra spring in his step as we end the 7th over, and it's 40 for 2.
How good's that? I didn't know that about that, but I just heard the roar of the crowd inside watching in the bar area, and what a great thing for Irish hockey.
And it's some achievement for an amateur side, having to pay their own way in many cases, and family and friends travelling over to Ireland, or over to England, I should say, and the first ever Irish international team to qualify for a World Cup final. It's a magnificent achievement, and congratulations and best of luck in the final from everyone involved in cricket in Leinster and all of Ireland. It's a wonderful achievement, and only one more step to go and we could have a world champion. I don't think that was beyond even their wildest dreams when they left here to go over, and all the links that we have between hockey and cricket in Ireland. There's I'm sure across the world as well, as many transferable skills between the two sports. So Langford Smith comes in again with the full toss, hammered away, muscled away from Harry Tector for 4. Beautiful shot. Just got away from Langford Smith there, just a full toss, and Harry Tector wasn't going to miss out.
Yeah, once again he's gone with that fuller length plan. Looks like he's attempting another Yorker there, 7 in a row from the bowler. He's just mis-executed there, just a little bit too full. I'd be trying to go into the wicket and roll fingers a little bit more.
Once again, right up there, but dug out for the single. You were mentioning earlier, Rob, there about having a speed going on, just to see about the different change-ups and the different paces that the bowlers were bowling at, particularly somebody like Tyrone, who you're working with internationally. Are you a fan of different apps and different technology for that, or would you prefer to kind of go with your eyes and what you see from a bowler?
Well, I think your first option is always the gut instinct, and
that's a glorious shot. What a fantastic effort! Watch out there in the crowd, an into out shot over X-Core. Beautiful shot from Jack Tector.
Yeah, full and wide ball, and he's taken toll of that. That was a beautiful shot over cover's head there. Might be worth having a chat to the bowler here just to slow him down a little bit, calm him down, reassess our plan. Do we keep persisting with these Yorkers, or do we go into the wicket a little bit more, maybe a bumper even?
Oh, it's full toss and driven, this time in the same area, but this time all along the ground. Beautiful shot, back-to-back boundaries for Jack Tector. And all of a sudden, like that, they've been keeping the scoreboard ticking over with singles and twos every so often, but now the boundaries are coming, and this is what can happen when you keep that scoreboard ticking.
This is great. This is high pressure here. Yeah, you can sense it out there. The captain's not happy. Change in the field, fine legs come up and long off's gone back.
It doesn't help when the two boundaries go directly past the captain either. He's standing there helpless, he can't do anything about it to stop it. And Jack Tector taking the single, getting himself off strike then after those two boundaries. Also brought up to 54 YMCA. So they're up to 54 for 2 now.
Yeah, never a good feeling when you get the stare from the captain over a cover.
Make sure you turn the other way as that one's carried through point, but well covered off again. Another couple of runs there to Harry Tector this time. And that's the end of that over. Brings us to 56 for 2 after 8. Well, just going back to that question there about the different technologies and things available for a bowler, what way would you approach that as a coach?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, you're always looking for a nice action, body type. Can they swing it? There's probably, you can see all that stuff from the naked eye, but every now and then I do like to get a radar gun just to see who is bowling faster. Some guys look faster, you must admit, but we do have some pace around the country at the moment. David Delaney's up there. I think there's still more in Peter Chase and young Max Neville. Josh Little's got some pace, and they can all swing it as well. So we do use a bowling measurement tool that I've actually created myself, but we can measure their execution at training, which we've got a lot of work to do on, as most bowlers do.
Well, that's it. You're always looking for the feedback as much as possible so that you can then go with the bowlers and give them something to work on from each time you see them, so that next time you have something to compare it to and something to figure out where they can improve. And That's all the players should be looking for, really. As Meta comes in now, and that's just helped up and over. But third man is in position there to fill that. Tom Stanton down there.
Yeah, I think training is so important. You've got to be. I've actually been talking to the Bangladesh bowling coach at the moment, who worked with Malinga. He's a previous coach of Sri Lanka, so he worked with Malinga and was talking to him about how many balls he bowled, how many Yorkers did he bowl to become the world's best. And he just said he would bowl for hours to shoes, and that's how he became the best. So he just kept bowling and bowling, got the volume in.
It just goes to show you can have all the natural ability in the world, but even the best have to work hard at their skills to make sure that they are at the top of their game when they come out to play in match conditions.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it all gets back to training. I've heard AB de Villiers talk, and you watch his master classes that he does on the TV. But there's so much work that goes into that to be able to play a shot under high pressure. To be able to ramp a bowler who's bowling 150 takes a fair bit of practice. You can't just come out and do it.
And it sounded like a little edge there through, and that's it. It's caught behind. Patrick Tice hangs on, and Jack Tector departs for 33, and Merrion have their third wicket. That's a beautiful delivery from Meta. Just squared him up a little bit and caught behind by Tice. YMCA now 58 for 3.
Yeah, it looked like Jack Tector just tried to run that one down to third man and just caught the outside edge. Punesh has bowled nicely here from this end. He's gone into the wicket a little bit more and bowled the odd change up, but it's sort of more back of a length, rolling fingers on the occasional one. It seems to be the method here through the middle overs.
So after bringing up the 50 partnership as well, they've just gone to that 50 partnership of 53 is broken between Harry and Jack Tector, as Jack Tector departs for 33, and Marion get an important wicket, getting themselves back into this at 58 for 3 now, YMCA, and Bobby Gamble is the new man into the middle.
Interesting to see there hasn't been any spin overs bowled yet. New batsman's coming to the wicket, middle overs. Tom Stanton spinning away from the bat. He might be coming on next over.
A new reinvented spin bowler. He's gone away from his medium pacers. As Meta comes in, no ball called, and down here to fine leg for a single, but it also called a no ball, so that'll bring on the free hit. They took the single, so the field can change, but once again it's Harry Tector with the freedom to free his shoulders as he gets advantage of the free hit.
Always very costly. The change of batter, they did get a single there so he can move the field. Interesting to see what he's going to bowl here. Will it be a Yorker or a slower ball?
So here he comes, bowling to Harry Tector. Slower ball. And luckily for Harry Tector, that is indeed a free hit, but beautifully bowled from Punish Meta there. Took all the pace off it, back of the hand, and defeated them all ends up, really.
That was a good choice, obviously, there from Punesh. It looked like it really fizzed out of the hand, that one, and really deceived the batsman there. Harry threw his shot 2 or 3 frames before that arrived, that one. Well bowled, Punesh. I'd like to see him not overstep again, though. That's 2 for the match here. They can be costly, and they can really create momentum in the batting innings here. So you want to get their foot behind the line.
That's it. Oh, it's another beautiful delivery this time. But like you say, it's when you're chasing down 154 off 20, you don't want to be bowling another over or 2 through no balls and wides and things like that to make that chase a little bit easier for your opposition.
Absolutely. Often wides are costly extras. Punesh has really mixed his pace up nicely. That one was pace on again after a slow ball, so it really deceiving the batsmen, keeping them guessing here. And it's a wide again.
Aidan Seaver there, the umpire standing at that end of the ground. Calls the wide. Just waiting on a signal from the scorers to acknowledge that. And eventually they did. As you say, these could all prove costly runs. It's in these middle orders when runs are crucial. You're trying to build that partnership again after the loss of Jack Tector. And giving away cheap runs and easy singles like this isn't going to do Merrion's cause any good. Oh, it almost carried there. Outside edge of Harry Tector's bat, but they get away for 2 more. And that's the end of that order. Brings the YMCA score to 63 for 3 after 9 overs.
An eventful over that one. We had it all there.
Had it all there. So they're going at 7 runs and over now. 3 wickets down. They need to be roughly around 7.5. Was the starting asking rate, so they're falling just a little bit behind the required rate. Where do you see this one going at the moment, Rob?
Geez, I think it's still a bit toss of a coin. I think there's a fair bit riding on Harry Tector here at the crease. We do see Tom Stanton coming in the crease now, so for the first over spin. But yeah, this will go down to the wire, I believe. Teams can really chase anything from 10 and over is not out of the question here in the last 5, definitely. So if they get through the last 5 overs here with wickets in the shed, you never know what can happen.
One thing's for certain, I think we're in for a fine finish to this game here. A good chase in the second semi-final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup. The wall is, as ever, beginning to fill up here in Pembroke. And if you're in the area, make sure you get down and enjoy both the end of this chase and the final to come later on, where the winners of this match will face Clontarf. Tom Stanton bowls his first ball. And Bobby Gamble drives away there, giving the strike back to Harry Tector, who's moved on to 26 off 24 balls. So without really doing too much, he's overrun a ball.
Yeah, certainly he's building a nice innings here.
And like I said, I've been travelling around with the Lightning this year, and I've seen him a couple of times. Particularly for the Knights, and particularly one innings up in Stormont in a 50-over match where he put his bat in the ground and he said, "You're not going to get my wicket," and he was very, very impressive. It was unfortunately in a losing effort, but he was very impressive as they take the quick single and just get through. But good work in the field by John Anderson. He's
good busy batting that. Just a good ball from Stanton there, full defence, but you can always look for a single there if you just nudge it into a gap. So never be satisfied with a dot ball there. Always looking for a single.
That's it. They were quick off the mark and aggressive running, and that made all the difference because John Anderson, he's quick off the mark and very, very accurate in the field as well. Moved across his stumps there and pulled away onto the leg side, and a great shot there. 4 more. Premeditated, really. Moved outside his off stump and just pulled that square for 4 more.
Yeah, that was dragged down there from Tom Stanton. He won't be happy with that delivery. I always want to put a little bit more pressure on the new batsman here. Gamble just coming to the crease facing his second or third delivery.
Oh. Yeah, got the old nutmeg out there. Nice shot through his own legs, but no run for it. Oh, carved away. That's the fielder down there, and he hangs on. Jack Carty hangs on, takes it in comfortably, and that's a 4th wicket for Marion. It's 69 for 4, and YMCA just losing wickets every time they look to get a partnership building again. So it's 69 for 4 at the end of 10 overs. That was the last ball of that delivery. And so that brings to the end of the 10th over and halfway through the chase. It just falls on me to say thanks very much to Rob Castle for taking time out to join us here in the commentary box and give us your insights. Thanks very much for that.
No worries, Pete. It's anyone's game here.
Absolutely. We don't know where we're going to go in the next 10 overs, but we do know for certain I'm going to hand over to Andrew Leonard, and he'll take you through to the close of this exciting chase in the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup.
Thank you, Peter. And fascinating insight there from Rob Castle, the Ireland bowling coach. Really interesting to get a little window into the mind of both seamers and spinners and what they're thinking at the top of their run-ups. And a little treat for the viewers at home now. We've got a special guest coming in to join us in the commentary box the next 5 overs or so. And I'd like to pay a very warm welcome to James Fitzgerald, formerly of the ICC and World Rugby, now of WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and of course a former YMCA Cricket Club secretary. James, thanks so much for joining us in the box here today.
Thanks, Andrew. I like to think of myself as first and foremost a YMCA honorary secretary, and once a YM man, always a YM man. So I'm keeping a close eye on this game, and it looks to be nicely poised at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give our viewers a little background on James obviously works in the media and communications area, and used to work for the Irish Cricket Union back when it was the Irish Cricket Union before Cricket Ireland. Shorter dot ball as Cardi returns into the attack from the Sydney parade end. And in that media and communications area, he moved on to the ICC out in Dubai before moving on to World Rugby back in Dublin. Now you're out in Montreal in Canada, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing out there.
Well, the World Anti-Doping Agency has been in Montreal since 1999, set up as the global regulatory body for all anti-doping in sport, particularly in the Olympic sports, but also across other sports too, such as cricket and rugby, which are my two previous experiences, I suppose.
And your two passions, I'd say, are they?
My two sporting passions. Growing up not far from here, in fact, and playing my cricket in YMCA. It was an easy one. Cricket was for the summer and rugby was for the winter, and they never crossed over, and everything was fine, and all's good. Now, when you go into the world of sport and the world of professional sport, obviously things get a bit more specialised, and that's just the way it is, and you have to choose one or the other. But I'm very lucky that I've spent a career working in sport, whether it was as a journalist or as PR.
Absolutely. A superb running there from Harry Tector, dashing through for two. It's actually Max Neville from the top end from the Sydney parade, and the two tall quicks that Merrion have operating. He's bowling his first over. Super running there from Tector, bringing him back onto strike. James Parkinson's coming at the far end from him. We have a really interestingly poised game, and I'm just going to come back to you after this ball, please, James. Full good of length, work down to third man. Third man's been busy today, just going to be one. If I can get away from your myopia and love of YMCA, who would you call here at the moment? Who do you think's ahead in the game?
Well, it's very difficult to say. It's nicely poised. The 4 wickets in that column would worry me slightly as a YMer, I'd have to say, and that was probably the issue that Marion had. Was they kept losing wickets at key times. YM bowled well and fielded well.
Neville in again, full right in that Yorker zone. Can't get any batting at this time, Harry Tector.
But if Harry can stay there, and maybe James Parkinson, a former lodger of mine actually, but if James Parkinson can stay with Tector here, I think they just need to build partnerships. It's like any form of cricket.
Neville in again, tall, rangy, short of a length, good pace, very impressive. Parkinson can't get bad on that. Parkinson really likes it full, doesn't he? He's very powerful down the ground.
Yeah, he's got broad shoulders and a big left leg, so why wouldn't he want to get that down to long off, long on, and test the fielders down there? But you know, it's really nicely poised here. We've got 9 overs left, and your guess is as good as mine at this stage, Lenny.
Well, right now it's 74 for 4 after 11 overs, and YMCA CC are going to need 81 from 9 overs. It's exactly 9 and over, so a tall task. Stanton's going to continue outside off stump. Harry Tector looks back at the umpire, looks for the wide, pleads for the wide, but he doesn't get it. Are you still getting to watch much cricket out in Canada?
Not as much as I would like. I have to pay a bit more for it these days. It's not on channels that you would normally receive.
More specialist cable subscription networks, I presume.
Correct, yeah. I listen to a lot of cricket these days.
I love it.
Online and through the wireless. So I do keep in with what's going on. I look at the scores.
Stanton into Parkinson. Parkinson just struggling to get going here. That's none off 3. And I think the Merrion bowlers know how powerful he can be. They're just making sure if they can tie him down early, they might get an opportunity here.
Yeah, it's always difficult coming in at this stage and being expected to score it.
Another
Better
dot
than
ball.
a running ball.
That's 4 dots now for Parkinson. Pressure building. That required run rate ticking up towards 10 and over. And you really would have to think Harry Tector's going to hold the key to YMCA trying to get through to this final here. Tom Stanton bowling so impressively. We've seen him on the fringe of the Leinster Lightning setup this year for the first time. Parkinson works it into the offside. That's just going to be one.
That's all he really needs to do, though. You know, he needs to rotate the strike and give Harry a bit more of the ball. Certainly dot balls aren't his friend at this stage. If he can just get bat on ball and take a singles, that's the way forward for him just at this stage.
Tector back onto strike, facing Tom Stanton. Full looks for the slog sweep, straight towards long on. Clever piece of fielding there from Jack Carty. He's just allowed that to bounce. Made sure he saved the boundary first.
Yeah, so that was nicely fielded. He judged it well. It was very low trajectory on that. He was never going to get to the catch. So one bounce into the mitts and back to the keeper. No harm done.
That's the end of the 12th over. 77 for 4 now here at Pembroke Cricket Club. And
it's a beautiful day, though.
Yeah, it's stunning.
These are the days which Irish cricket dreams about. You know, the sun's shining, the kids are happy on the bouncy castles. Everyone has a drink in hand, whether it's lemonade or something else, and this is what Irish cricket is all about.
We have a very fine crowd building up. Shorter, it's going to land safely just in between the two fielders on the leg side. Certainly wasn't timed well by Tector. The throw comes in over the keeper, backed up nicely. It is a glorious day, and there's a lovely crowd building up. And these are the days that you look to play for. Tell us, your involvement in Irish cricket started out with the Irish Cricket Union. How much has the sport changed from your initial involvement back? Look at the 2001 ICC trophy, where you rather famously ended up as a substitute fielder. How much has it changed from that, 15, 20 years ago to now today?
Yeah, I mean, people talk about that tournament as a sort of a turning point for Irish cricket, and my infamous appearance as a 12th man that day. But that, as I tell people, that was I definitely played cricket for Ireland, but I played cricket for Ireland by accident. It was a low point, particularly.
A low point for the country rather than yourself.
It was a low point for Irish cricket, and it was a high point for me, but that's not necessarily the same thing. So, look, I remember I interviewed John Wright, the late John Wright, who was secretary of the Irish Cricket Union just after that tournament, and he was quite downbeat, and he said that this has set Irish cricket back 8 years. Now, as it turned out, he was wrong. It only set it back 6 years, because Ireland qualified for the next World Cup, and as we know, they went to the West Indies and did so well over there, but it possibly took that low point for people to realise, and losing to teams they shouldn't lose to, like Denmark, like the Netherlands, and they were all over the place in that tournament.
Yeah.
But they came out of it, and this is what we have today.
And 4 years later, the ICC trophy came back to Irish soil, and obviously that was the tipping point where the first World Cup qualification was achieved, and the amazing legacy of Ireland in World Cups over the last 3 there, 2007, 2011, 2015. Did you enjoy, I suppose, initially watching on from an ICC viewpoint? You were involved in the Caribbean 2007. It was a difficult tournament administratively, but from an Irish viewpoint, you must have been very proud.
A lot of people will look back on that tournament and think how terrible it was, and how many drawbacks it had. But you ask any Irish fan what they think about 2007 Cricket World Cup, and it'll be a different story. And I was the same. I was working for the ICC in my ICC blazer, walking around and around the pitch just inside the advertising boards as Ireland inched towards victory against Pakistan at Sabina Park. And when Trent Johnston hit the 6 over long on to win that game, it was all I could do. I had to physically hold on to the barrier to stop me running across the ground squealing like a little girl, because Ireland had won and beaten Pakistan in the Cricket World Cup. It was an amazing time, and so all these things are all relative. I look back quite fondly on the 2007 Cricket World Cup, at least in some ways. There were a lot of negatives out of tournament, and
the tragedy of Bob Woolmer's death, which obviously then planted you in front of the world's media as well.
That was very difficult. That was very difficult personally and professionally, I suppose. But as I always think back, I mean, nothing was as difficult for me as it was for Bob Woolmer's family, who were struggling to cope with the death of their loved one, and then the bungling investigation by the Jamaican police, who initially described it as a murder, and then it turned out not to be so. I mean, that the emotions that they would have gone through, made anything that I did pale into insignificance, and also the Pakistan players who loved Bob Woolmer. I think
he was a hero.
They had a genuine affection for him, and suddenly he wasn't there anymore, and that was a real tragedy for them. And so, I spent a lot of time in Jamaica that year, one way or another, with the inquest and everything that happened after that, after the death. But it was certainly a time in my life I'll never forget.
You never forget. And there's 13 overs gone now. YMCA advanced to 84 for 4. 71 now to win off 7. This is the first time the required run rate's crept above 10. Going to be a big ask for the YM batsman to get home from here.
It certainly
James.
will. But look, I mean, Harry's there. He's in form. If James Parkinson can stick with it and get his eye in, he's certainly capable of a few lusty blows. Just like that one.
Talk about lusty blows. That's James Parkinson to the tee. That's hit over the clubhouse, or onto the clubhouse roof here in Pembroke. A sensational strike. That's sheer power and class from James Parkinson.
And that's what he can do. I mean, that's what he will do if he stays in. So, I wouldn't worry too much about the run rate getting above 10. If Harry can keep playing his shots, and then Parkinson comes in with the odd blow like that, then the job will be done.
He started slowly, James Parkinson, but he's just shown his class there. Inside out over extra cover. I think it's bounced on the Pembroke clubhouse roof here and run away, and we've got the third umpire onto the pitch to look for a replacement ball. Never a good sign as a spinner. Can I ask you a bit about then moving away from cricket and going into rugby? Was that part of the want to move home and work for World Rugby, or was it just too good an opportunity to turn down?
Yeah, I mean, to work in a sport that is your passion and is your great affection growing up is fantastic. To work in two different sports that have been your passion through your life is a dream come true. So I took that with both hands, and the fact that it was in my hometown was good too. And I came back to Dublin and had a great time with World Rugby.
Short Parkinson looking to power that again. No bat on ball this time. And are the big things you remember from your time in both organisations, the big events, the World Cups, are they the things that stand out for you really?
Oh, for sure. I mean, in cricket, the Cricket World Cup in India, with India winning it, was an amazing experience to be there and to experience that firsthand. And then with rugby, I was at the 2011 Rugby World Cup in New Zealand when New Zealand won it. So in 2011 was a pretty special year for World Cups.
Bowled him. That's a huge wicket. It's the key man. Harry Tector falls, bowled. Looked to be a very super piece of bowling from Tom Stanton. And how crucial is that? Is that the game for YMCA?
Oh, steady on. Not quite. But it's a big blow for YM, there's no doubt about that. There's still 65 odd runs to get.
Just looking back on the replay here, he looked for the slog sweep, but it was shorter of length, not into his arch, and that's just clipped the top of leg stump that's knocked back, and you can see the disappointment on Harry Tector's face. He falls for 38 off 39 balls. And we've got the tall Jared Barnes coming to the crease now. Nice ovation from his YMCA teammates, but he is gutted there, isn't he, Harry Tector?
Yeah, he knows. It was really his job to stay there and to bring the side home, at least to get closer than this. So that is a big blow for YM. It'll certainly give Marion a boost. And it was well bowled.
Just a bit slower through the air, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's developing well as a bowler, Stanton, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him move up the ranks.
Yeah, nice to see the bravery to get it up above the eye line and claim that crucial wicket. That's clipped off the legs of Jared Barnes into the leg side. Just going to be one as the cow corner fielder is out. And we're just going to flick across now to have a quick look at the batting card. that crucial wicket of Harry Tector falls for 38. His brother Jack, 33, the YMCA captain. Still batting to come though for YMCA. If you can see here, you've got obviously James Parkinson and Jared Barnes at the wicket, but the third Tector brother, Tim Tector, is in phenomenal form. He's had 100, if not, I think he's had 200s for Ireland under 15s. So still plenty to come for YMCA.
Yeah, just when you think you've got rid of the Tectors, another one comes along. It won't scare them quite as much as Jack and Harry will, but Tim, as you say, is in great form, and he's been playing well for the representative teams that he's involved in. So he's a man with confidence, as if Tectors need any more confidence.
Mitchell Thompson, also a very fine batsman, and of course Ireland under 19 wicketkeeper batsman Sam Murphy also to come. I think Sam Streak might come in 11. We'll have to wait and see the order. And a change of bowling now from the Sydney Parade end as Ireland Test match cricketer Tyrone Kane comes back on. Can I ask you one question? Do you think that you would ever hear those words as a Test match cricketer for Ireland?
Well, you asked me when I was growing up. I was a devotee of the West Indies. Right, in the 1980s, they were the best team around, and they came to play in Rathmines. I don't know if it was 84, 85, sometime around then, and I watched Ireland play a 2-day game against the West Indies, and I just wanted to see them. They were so exotic. I'd never seen athletes that good before, and the idea that Ireland might eventually someday play on a level playing field with those guys in the same form of cricket and Test cricket was just something beyond my imagination. So you can imagine. Speed it on 30 years or so, and we've got to this stage where Ireland are playing Test cricket, and it's just fantastic. It's a dream come true for a lot of people.
Kane in from the Sydney Parade end into the slot. Looks like it was going to come just short along on. Where were you for the Test match? Ireland accounted themselves wonderfully well. Where were you for that iconic Kevin O'Brien moment?
Sadly, I was not in Malahide. I was in Montreal
to Malahide.
Yeah, I wanted to be there. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. So I had to just listen online to what was going on, and it was a great Test match. Not just the fact that it was Ireland's first ever Test match. It was a great match in its own right. Full
stop. Yeah, and as Kane comes in here, Fuller this time. Sliced away over point. That's going to run away for 4. Big cheers from the YM bound. The YM gathered squad underneath the tents. They're delighted with that. It wasn't just a great Test match, but the most remarkable thing was it went into what was the 5th day, with the first day being washed out. The 5th and final day of the Test match with all 4 results possible. The tie, their draw.
Well, that's what you want in any game, isn't it? Like you go into the final day, the wicket's doing a bit, and the pressure's on the batting team. So that's what you want with all 4 results possible, and that's what it gave us.
The miracle of Malahide they were talking about that morning as Kane comes in. Small appeal, but that's just a dot ball. Good Yorker length from Kane. Very difficult to get that away for Barnes. Yeah, the miracle of Malahide was trending on Twitter that morning. Well, we were talking about the miracle of Medina in the Ryder Cup. Was it going to be a historic first Test match win for Ireland in their first ever Test?
It could have happened. I mean, unfortunately for Ireland it didn't, and you take your defeats. It was a defeat fair and square, but I think what it did was it gave everybody a bit of confidence that maybe we're not so far away from this level.
Yeah. And Pakistan's coach, that's a no ball call. That's going to be another free hit. Kane throws his eyes to the sky in disappointment. No ball called for the front foot by umpire Aidan Seaver, and a free hit is signalled. And I think even Pakistan's national coach, Mickey Arthur, spoke about that. He spoke about just how impressed he was by Ireland and what brilliant preparation it was for the English series. So is that something you'll hopefully we'll see in the future, sides that are touring England coming to Ireland for a Test match beforehand?
Absolutely. Mickey Arthur is a great cricket guy. He would have recognised the significance of the occasion for Ireland, but also as a single-minded coach who wants his team to win and do as best they can, he would have seen that as an opportunity to prepare for the series that was in front of them. And yeah, I think that's the way at this stage Ireland need to pitch it to other national coaches.
Kane in, free hit of course, brilliant bowling. He's absolutely nailed that Yorker. There's no getting that away, whether it's a free hit or not.
Yeah, he did well. He would have been angry at himself for overstepping the previous ball. So he's redeemed himself there.
And Tyrone Kane, we were talking about that Test match at Malahide. There's a man who made his Test match debut and he really bolted into that squad the last 6 weeks. The only non-contracted player in that squad. There was talk on Twitter of him being the first modern amateur Test cricketer because he didn't have a contract. So yeah, wonderful achievement to him. Just coming to the end of five overs here with James Fitzgerald, and that's been smashed into the sky, gone inside out, over extra cover. One bounce, I think. Now it's gone all the way for 6. What a strike to end your stint in the commentary box. How good was that?
I'll take that. And yeah, if Parkinson can continue in that vein of form, then it should be okay. But it's a long way to go. 5 overs and still 50 odd runs needed.
James, it's been wonderful to see you back in Ireland. I want to thank you for taking some time to come and chat to us. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day down the wall. And for you, I hope you can see your beloved YMCA into the final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Andrew.
So fascinating stuff there with James Fitzgerald, formerly of the ICC and World Rugby, and now of WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, living in Montreal, a great Irish cricket man. And yeah, certainly probably the first and last journalist to appear on a cricket pitch for Ireland, as he rather infamously described his appearance in the 2001 ICC trophy. Stanton to continue, Given! That's the 6th wicket. It's a crucial one. Jared Barnes falls. YMCA CC 107 for 6 after 15.1. And I've got a good Leinster cricket man to the right of me who's going to come in and describe the last 5 overs with me. Mark Jones, is that the game?
Hi Lenny, how are you?
Very well.
Nice way to start for me, eh? Come in on the wickets for first ball, so I'm sure the YM crowd are really loving seeing me here. It's going to be tight now. It's going to be a big ask for YM, I think.
Just going to have a quick look at this replay here, Jonesy. It looked like it just skidded on a bit. And yeah, the umpires correctly adjudicate that's probably going to hit leg stump, is it?
Yeah, umpire's call I would have thought, yeah. Top of it, maybe clipping a bail. What do you think?
Clipping a bail. Well, look, if it was given, it's going to remain given.
No reviews in this game then.
No reviews here. Speaking of reviews, did you catch much of the Test match, the England's win this morning?
I saw the last couple of overs. It was a good win from where it started off 2 days ago, with Virat being dropped on 21 and making that magnificent 100. It looked for all money that India were going to just run away with it, but it just to and fro so much yesterday, you just didn't know what to do. That
wonderful ebb and flow of Test cricket. You get the sense we might have another series like 2005.
Well,
2005 Ashes.
Hopefully.
Stanton in. He's coming round the wicket to the new man, the left-handed Sam Murphy. And that required run rate starting to spiral. It's now just for the first time again ticked over 10 and over. 48 to win off 4.4. Murphy looks to sweep another dot ball. What are you looking to do here as a batsman, Jonesy? How are you looking to try and get this target down and get it over the line?
The new man should be looking to get Parkinson on strike and just rotating for the next. Granted, it is a bit of an ask at this stage, but you still got to try and back yourselves to win it. By doing that, you have to play proper cricket. So I think Sam should just be trying to knock it around, get one, get Big Parky on strike, and hopefully he can knock a couple over the ropes. It only takes one good over here, and YMCA are right back in this game.
Stanton into Parkinson, short. Pulled powerfully down. That's straight to long on. That's just going to be one. And I think you're spot on. Parkinson's going to hold the key here, isn't he? The power that he possesses means that this target is still achievable. But if he falls, I think that we could be into the last rights.
Yeah, once you have a man who can clear the ropes, and Parky clearly can, as he's already proven in this innings, he is the key, and he'll be the key wicket for Merrion at this stage. If I was on the pitch at the moment on the Merrion side of things, I'll be looking to get him off strike as much as possible and bowl at the other end. That's your best form of defence. And
looks like Tom Stanton's just going to come in and complete his spell here. Not signalled wide. YMCA not happy with that down to our right. I'm just going to take a quick look at the bowling figures here, Jonesy.
It's good pace, that one, in fairness.
And you'll just see them on your screen there. 4 overs, 3 for 20. How good a spell was that from Tom Stanton?
Great spell from Tom, in fairness. Looking at the figures today, it's probably the best bowling today. All in, is it?
Yeah, we did have a 4 from James Parkinson earlier in the day, but he was certainly more
expensive.
He went
for 36 though, I think.
He did. Tell us a bit about Tom. I'm here with Mark Jones, the Leinster Lightning manager. He's come in a little bit into the Lightning setup. Have you been impressed with him when he's come in?
Absolutely. Tom's got a great attitude. he hasn't played a whole lot for us, and he has been involved in the squad a lot in the last 18 months or so. It's great to have him around. He's a great guy to have around. He's willing to learn. He's willing to kind of bide his time and wait for his opportunities. He played a couple of 2020 games for us here, and you know,
T20 festival.
Yeah, the T20 festival. Yeah, with the strength and depth that we possess, it's always going to be difficult for people to come in, especially when you look at the guys that he's going to be competing against. You got Captain George Dockrell, who's a left arm spinner, same as Tom. Then you got Simi Singh as well. So he's up against two, I suppose at this stage, seasoned international, two are all rounders, as opposed to Tom, where, no offence to him, his batting isn't brilliant, so he's mainly in as a bowler.
So bowling, chip down the ground. Murphy's gone, taking it long on. Punish Mehta returns into the attack, strikes again, and Murphy's gone.
Soft, would you say, Lenny?
Yeah, disappointing.
Follow through with the shot. It goes over the rope. He just chipped it down, didn't he?
Might have been a little bit of a slower ball from the Indian professional for Merrion, Punish Mehta. That's his second wicket now.
I've been really impressed with Punish, with the bits that I've seen of him this year. He, he's got all the tricks up his sleeve. It certainly was a slower ball, all right, yeah, and certainly did Murphy like a kipper there.
Yep. Looks like it was an off-cutter from Mehta. Really impressive skills. Going to see the third of the Tector brothers now. Tim Tector, the Irish under-15 captain. He's been in imperious form this year. I think he's one of the leading run scorers across all of Leinster cricket by the time you collate all the divisions together. Have you seen much of Tim?
I haven't seen a lot of Tim now, but apparently what I've heard about, I've liked. And again, he's a Tector, so I know what the other two are like. So he can only be good.
What is it about Irish cricket that brings families together, dynasties together? You talk about the Joyces, you talk about the O'Briens, you're now talking about the Tectors. Why is it so apparent in Irish cricket?
Well, that's a bit of a question for the ages, not just for myself, I would have thought. It's the way you're brought up, isn't it? Like, I mean, if it's a game that you either love or hate growing up, and most families stick together. So when you're introduced to a game as a kid, you either like it or you don't like it, and you just continue to play. That's just going to be one. They looked for two, but just restricted to the single there. It's going to be tick the scoreboard over to the Nelson. 111 for 7 in the 17th. Do you believe in Nelson, Lenny? I always believe in a Nelson. You got to love a superstition. Don't just believe in the tradition of it more than anything. All right, okay. We're part of the glorious spirit of our game. We're so lucky to be a part of. It's really nice to see such a large crowd now developing. It is. It's great. It should be a couple of hundred in for the final, if not a few more than that. We've been blessed with the weather this summer as well, Jonesy. How much easier has that made your job as the Leinster Lightning manager? Oh, so much easier when you can just plan. When you don't have to worry about what the pitch is going to be like, and you just turn up and it's going to be set fair, and you can just pick a team and not have to worry about do we pick the extra seamer because it might do, but it could be raining or overcast, and I think it brings it shows the difference in class and players as well. When everything is on an even keel, the better players always come to the fore, which you can safely say has happened this year in Leinster cricket. The better players are getting the runs, the pros are getting the runs, and the better bowlers are being more economical and taking the wickets as well. Yeah, and it's been a hugely competitive Premier League season, hasn't it? It's been quite impressive. Absolutely. It's great to see that back after the break. I think it could be a very exciting run in now in the next couple of weeks. Mehta to continue from the Sydney Parade end. Been so impressive. Hits that length again. Tector can't get bat on ball. Very tough as a 15-year-old coming in at this stage of the innings, needing 10 and over, isn't it? It's not easy, but as I said earlier on, I think he needs to, as opposed to trying to hit the ball, just get in behind it, bunt it down. There's comfortably a one there, pretty much everywhere around the ground. For a young lad, just learning his trait. I think Parky should just go down, have a quick word, just get in behind the chief, get one, get me on strike, and try and lead it from there. That required run rate is now over 2 a ball, up to nearly 13 and over. Punish Mehta looks a real master of his art. Yeah, that one's gone straight over the top of middle and off. Cut away by Tector. They're going to push for 2. Better throw, there could have been a chance there, but Tector scampers in and gets the double. Good running, put him under pressure. So it's 44 required off 3.1 overs. That's 42 required off 3.1 overs. That's 42 off 19 balls, more than 2 a ball. And you'd have to think Parkinson's got to target the next over to go really large, doesn't he? Yes, has to go big. Tector will be looking for 2, 4 or 6 to keep Parkinson on strike here. Mehta in, no bat on ball. It's going to be a dot.
YMCA will be pleased that Parkinson's on strike, but the dot not ideal.
I think that's a very big over for Merrion, in fairness. What? That only went for 3, was it?
3 runs off it. And Punish Mehta has bowled 3 overs now, 2 for 12. YMCA CC 113 for 7 after 17 overs. Talk to us a little bit about the Lightning season so far. Disappointment that the championship title has been taken away from you for the first time?
Obviously, it's not an ideal situation for us, having 1 game to go and not being in contention to win it still. In fairness, the Warriors have played the better cricket in the 3-day format all season, so good luck to them. It's great to see Purdy and Nobby playing with them, and Big Boy played against us here. And
how much of a difference has that made to the Warriors and the Interprovincial Championship?
Absolutely huge. It's great that they're embracing it. That they've come over, and I know Cricket Ireland have been involved in saying, well, you guys have to play in this now that you're not playing county cricket, but they've come over and they've proved why they have both played county cricket for such a long period. They've both shown why they have first class records of averaging 30-35 plus.
It's going to be David Langford-Smith back into the attack. Parkinson looks to hit powerfully down the ground, wide along on, but restricted to just 1. And the crowd really getting into it down here. Cries of, come on Marion, finish it off from the benches. And Langford-Smith, such a veteran, such a wily campaigner, obviously a wonderful servant of Irish cricket. And that's a little bit of length, but Tector can only get that to long on as well. This is going to be one. Parkinson needs boundaries here.
Big 4 balls coming up, I think, Lenny. I think the game is this over. Parky needs to hit a couple of boundaries to bring us down to the last 2.
Langford-Smith,
any chance whatsoever.
Langford-Smith proved expensive so far. Oh! Wonderful effort, juggling effort from the man known for his ferret dance. We could have seen a ferret dance if he held on to that one.
Absolutely, yeah. It was kind of like Lanky himself, a bit of a stutter and a drop.
It was full, and it was hit back to Langford-Smith, and just juggle. He couldn't quite cling on. He wanted to cling on, but he couldn't cling on.
What of 5 years ago, I think.
Parkinson on strike. Full. Parkinson hammers it into his foot. That looks like it's hurt. It's going to be, more crucially, another dot ball.
Another dot ball, yeah, absolutely. And a sore toe for James.
Great to see David Langford-Smith back playing this year. He's spoken quite openly about why he's come back, and the importance of this season to him. As he comes in to Parkinson, into the slot, hit down the ground towards long on. 1 bounce, it's just going to be a single. You happy to see him back on the pitch?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely great. The reason he's back on the pitch isn't great, but it is absolutely fantastic that he's decided to come back out of retirement again and play again. He's a great character. He's a great cricketer, and play as long as he can, mate.
Much loved in Irish cricket, David Langford-Smith. Full hit over cover. That's going to avoid the reach of Tom Joyce. They're going to try and look for 2, but I think wisely turned back, and that's just going to be the
he's
single.
Just been given.
It's
been
given out.
Did he make it back?
Barely an appeal, but that has been given. Umpire Richardson has decided that's out. Celebrations from Merrion, and Tim Tector looks very distraught.
Have to see a replay on that one. It looked for all money like he was back, but I think it was one of those where he just dabbed the bat back in and maybe he was too late.
Well, I suppose
smart bit of work from Lanky if he did get it out.
Yeah, the interesting thing here was that there wasn't a hugely enthusiastic appeal.
Ooh, not sure about that one, Lenny.
Certainly looks like he might have got back. It was very close. It would have been set. I think it would
have
been sent to the third umpire.
It definitely would have been upstairs, all right.
Yeah, in a televised match. But Richardson rules in favour of the fielding team, in favour of Merrion. Tector caught short. It's 117 for 8. They had completed the first run. They obviously don't get the second.
Yes.
And with 2 overs to go, it's really it's Merrion's to lose now, isn't it?
Big time. 39 from 13 balls is a big ask. 3 a ball.
Yeah, 39 from 12 balls now as our graphics tick over. 2 overs left.
Over up, sorry.
Yeah. And getting messages from right around the world today. Great to see people tuning in in such numbers from Australia, from India, from Northern Ireland.
Nice comment from Iggy there I saw a minute ago.
Yeah, Punish Meta in, short of a length. I think it's Mitchell Thompson, the new man. Another Irish underage international. Produced some number of youth internationals of late, YMCA.
They certainly have, yeah, absolutely. It's great to see them all coming through. As Lenny adjusts my microphone yet again. It's a testament to the youth policy they have down at YMCA, and obviously the work of Kamal Marchant down there.
Yeah, a great coach who comes across from Pakistan every summer to Ireland. He's first class umpire in Pakistan. Thompson can't get bat on ball, and you just get a sense that the professionalism of Merrion here, they're going to close this out and go on to the final against Clontarf, don't
absolutely. It's a huge ask to win it from here for YMCA. So,
how much of a loss is Simi Singh to YMCA? Obviously recovering from that shoulder
huge,
injury.
Absolutely huge. Like Simi, not only is he capable of getting 100, but he's also capable of getting 4 or 5 wickets for not a lot of runs. And on a wicket like this and on a ground field like this, he was a huge blow for YM not to be playing today.
Meta in short of length outside edge. That's down to third man. Third man is quite fine, I think, intentionally to try and cover that edge. So that's just going to be a single. Parkinson is still there, and if there's one man in Leinster cricket who might just be able to get the long handle out and get a few down to the wall.
The next two need to go and have Billy looking for them now, in fairness. Where is the wild man? Get him.
Well, we're going to see if
get
we
him
can.
Involved.
We've got a change in the field. Deep Cape corner going out and fine leg coming into the ring. And he's obviously going to try and protect that boundary down by the Pembroke wall here. But as you say, it's a huge ask now. 37 to win off 9 balls. Parky, absolutely nothing to lose. And I'm sure he's going to be swinging from the hip here as Meta comes in.
Slower ball again. Toe at a bat. They'll have to come back for 2 here. He's going.
Turning,
they're
looking
going.
for 2.
Turning.
Parkinson needs to move. He's
very
not
good
even in
throw.
the frame. He's gone. 9 down.
Very good throw. Is that Michael Lewis down there at long off?
It
long
looks
on?
like it is Michael Lewis. He's delighted.
Throw. Great return, in fairness, and that should be the game now for Marion.
Yeah, well collected by Patrick Tice. He whips the bails off. The first really exuberant celebration we've seen in the afternoon.
Well, yes. I think they saw that they realised that was the winning of the match now.
Can I ask you something, Jonesy? And speaking of Mark Jones here, the Leinster Lightning manager to my right. In your vast cricketing experience, would you rather be going straight into the final now, or would you rather have had the rest like Clontarf did this morning?
I would rather go straight into it, to be honest with you. I've played a final down here a long time ago, back in 2009, I think, and we played the first game, we won it. And obviously we had a break then of 3.5, 4 hours until you play your next game. Now that sounds ideal, but when you're hanging around and watching another game, it can be a little bit tedious, especially when there's a break between your game and the next game, and then another break between the second game and the final itself. So it can be a long day, if you know what I mean.
And as you can see, you can see on your pictures there, Clontarf actually warming up on the far side, so they want to try and get their bodies warm and get loose and get nimble and get ready for that 5:30 start for the final.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it's going to start on time. It's now 5:05. So I have a funny feeling it could have a bit of a delayed start with the final. Maybe
outside edge, gone very fine. It's going to run away for 4. Sam Streak, regulation edge, but that's going to carry through. Obviously no slips in place at this stage of the innings.
Another one of them can make it interesting.
Yeah, well look, that 4 brings the total up to 123 for 9. Still 32 runs required to win. We will update you on the start time of the final, because as Mark Jones rightly says, it's going to be a quick turnaround no matter what. Glorious evening now in Pembroke Cricket Club. Sunshine blazing. Umbrellas up over our commentary position here to protect the 2 hairstyles we have.
I was going to ask if have you got a bit of cream on the buns, but you're under the umbrella there, so I think you should be okay.
We're cut from the same school in that department, Jonesy. That's the end of the 19th over. It's 124 for 9 now, so it's going to be 31 to win off the last over.
Not an impossible task,
but pretty close to it. Exactly right.
The famous 12-man tapes, eh?
Exactly, and we'll give the family-friendly version here. David Langford-Smith's going to bowl the last over. It's been a really professional performance from Marion, isn't it, all round?
It has, absolutely. From ball 1, they've gone out and they've gone about their business. No real superstars today, I don't think. Everyone chipped in with the bat and everyone's kind of chipped in with the ball. The only thing I've noticed is that their main strike bowler in T20 cricket hasn't bowled in this game, which is a little bit of a surprise. Sean Staunton has been, I think he's their leading wicket taker in T20 cricket, and he hasn't got a bowl yet today. So
lots of bowling options for that Merrion side, and with that dot ball, that impossible task
that is curtains
becomes even more difficult. They're going to need 5 sixes to get the tie and the super over, but that's going to be pretty unlikely. And you'd think with the experience of Langford Smith and numbers 10 and 11 at the wicket. Sam Streak, who bowled well earlier, 3 wickets for him.
It was a good spell from Big Sam.
Langford Smith into him. And really, it's the last rights here. We've just been given an update into my ear that we're going to get that final started as close to 5:30 as is possible. We'll probably have to turn around straight away with the toss going. And great to see walking in here another Irish international just down watching. Pembroke man, Durham County Cricket Club, Barry McCarthy.
Great to see Barry.
Just onto the pads. Going to trot through for a single. And be signalled as a leg by umpire Richardson. Who do you fancy in the final, Jonesy?
I think it's going to be an excellent final. 2 very good sides. Clontarf are looking to retain their title, and Merrion historically have always done very, very well on T20 cricket, so it's going to be very tight. I suggest that possibly the Merrion have a better bowling attack, and that might be the key at the end of it. I think both batting lineups are very, very strong, but Merrion might just straight it with their bowling lineup.
It's a lovely shot from Mitchell Thompson, but it's all too late, I'm afraid, for YMCA CC. He's carved that away behind point, and that's going to run away for 4. You'd have to say probably the 2 best sides as well into the final on today's evidence, at least.
Absolutely, on today's showing, yes, absolutely. I think both Leinster and YMCA have come up a little bit short in a number of departments. But they both teams fought well, but just didn't have it. Didn't have it in today,
Thompson,
that should do
off
it.
the top edge, and that's going to be it. Merrion advance into the final of the LHK Insurance Alan Murray Cup, and they're going to play Clontarf. A dominant performance. They run out winners by 25 runs.
Yeah, very good win for Merrion there. Sets up nicely for the final. Clontarf are obviously bursting to get out. They're just running on the pitch now to start their warm-up again. Be interesting to see what time that final does kick off, because 20 minutes is a little bit of a short turnaround time for Marion, and even for the groundsman to get it remarked.
Yep. Well, look, Jonesy, we'd like to tell you a huge thanks from the HBV team here producing these pictures for us today. You'll see the scorecard on screen there. 129 all out YMCA. They've come up short, and we're going to be back with you in about 20 minutes time for a cracking final. It's going to be Merrion against Clontarf.